Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome to another episode of Downtime in the Hangar, where we talk about all things GBO2 and sometimes other stuff. So, guys, today I'm joined by Gustav the 13th and
Yep.
Gaming Emblem.
Yo,
How was your all's week? Emblem?
pretty good. Depending on how you look at what good stands for. But
Oof.
I've been dabbling in Mobile Suit Gundam online. The VPN requirements are gone uh it's something I've been meaning to play for a while, but I didn't realize that it was honestly I didn't know before you needed to go through hoops to sit, but now that I know for sure, don't worry about it. I've been playing a little bit more. It's clunky, janky, and I don't know, more there for the IP and effective of jank mobile like that as well.
I'm breaking up a little bit.
The connection seems and oh no, now it doesn't. It looks like I'm having connection issues too. Discord, am I right?
Yeah, pretty much.
The
Does it
best.
sound okay enough?
Yeah, you're good now. You're good now. For some reason, there was a couple of hiccups.
Okay. Because it did drop in frames now too, so maybe it's something on my internet. Maybe
Uh-oh.
it's Discord's fault. But yeah, game. Ugh.
Ugh.
I'm bad. There play that game that seem to know doing, and then there's me who tries to get into a fight and gets instantly deleted.
Yeah, I've been hearing everybody talk about, well, you just die in like 2 seconds. So I mean, it feels like, if just looking at it a little bit, feels like one of those, like, I've played Red Orchestra 2 is kind of what I've been comparing it to, just because that's a mass battle game kind of thing. And,
mm,
in that, though, you walk around a corner and there's a guy who's peeking through a crack in the wood area of, like there's this wooden wall and there's like this little tiny crack that he's peeking through with his sniper rifle, where he's got like his, you know, like whatever normal basic, and he knows to fire as soon as he sees somebody cross this point that'll hit the guy. Yeah. There's a lot of people that, like, I know it's not that bad, but still, like, I'm just like, oh man, it sounds like it's one of those where you just pop a corner and if somebody's looking at you, you're dead.
there's people who kind of do stuff like that, but I don't. It's honestly not that at all. From what I've seen, like it's more of like you just fight in you kind of fight in these kind of like preset areas almost, and that's more of like a kind of thing, just wherever to clash on, and you just die. Like it's not even like you're
Oh, okay.
walking across a hallway and gimped. It's more of like you're fighting with your team and you just get fucking deleted. Um, there's no like unless that melee situation happens, people don't even have to be that cute. They just fucking own you. Like it doesn't even matter.
Okay, that sounds kind of funny. But yeah, so you went from one salt mine to another.
Pretty much. Like it was honestly with that on top of like me lamenting at my lack of ability and then going to GBO2 and getting like bopped on in the same degree. It's just ugh. I need to play more single player games is what it comes down to. I'm not built to play competitive games. Like I don't have the background, so I don't have like the I don't have like the tolerance build up or whatever. So it's just terrible. This is what happens when a single player person starts playing these online competitive games. They just I don't cope well.
Yeah, that's one reason why I've been like hoping they would flesh out the like the trial system and stuff a bit more. It'd be cool if they.
That hasn't been touched. It's so shitty.
Yeah. I'm glad when we were looking last time, that we found actually a every few months kind of thing. Like, so hopefully we got another one coming up, improvement soon, trademark. But yeah, Gustav, how's your week been?
I'm kind of in the same boat in terms of from one salt mine to the next. It's been okay so far. My new secondary game because Yakuza
Oh,
2 I was playing for a while. Um, it just wasn't running that well on my PC. I did some other tweaks because my dumb ass was running like 2 different speeds of RAM. I ended up just roofing out the old ones and keeping the new ones in there.
yeah.
So it's running more consistently now, but it's still only like sub 60. I'd rather it be a bit smoother. It's just a big jump for the engine. But in the meantime, I switched to another game, and that is Bloodborne.
Yeah, like as soon as I was like, what Salt game did he swap to? And that's when, yeah, I just finally remembered. I was like, oh man.
Wait, I thought Bloodborne was like Dark Souls and is made for casuals. Is that a Salt game?
Hmm. Yeah, I guess so. But that's the thing, like, it's just me kind of like hitting my head against the wall, but eventually getting through stuff. So it hasn't been too bad yet, but there's still a lot of games to go. So, like, I have to try to hype myself up to play it. But the weekend, we'll probably see us going at it more.
You got this,
Because my sleep
Gustav.
schedule's still been like, my sleep schedule's been real garbage as of late. Besides that, just playing this video game for the
Nice.
battle operation.
Speaking of bad sleep schedules, for my week,
Oh,
I just got off of a 29-hour stream yesterday and went to bed and then woke up and we're here. Pretty much no. Yeah, so I've been doing more of the Final Fantasy 14. Finally caught up to Emblem and then found out that his free trial thing ran out. So,
If I was limited to 7 days.
well, time to wait for um Fantasy Star Online 2. Which is supposed
For
to be
real.
what,
Pretty
in
much.
like a week or so?
27th.
Oh, it's really the 27th?
Hmm. For the
Woo!
PC release, anyway.
Hype, dude. Okay, well, I got till the 27th to finish Path of Exile challenges. But so yeah, that but 14's been pretty cool. So far I mean it's an MMO. I don't know. I've had a couple of people come by and be like, "So what do you think of it so far?" Or, just people just, "I just got this game. What do you think?" And I'm like, "It's an MMO. I've played way too many MMOs, so I am waiting for the end game. One
We mean
day."
waiting for the game to start,
Yeah, pretty
as
much.
most people will put it.
Pretty much. Like I want to see this hard content in game stuff, and then we'll get there one day. But yeah, after this free month runs out, I don't know when we're gonna re-sub to that, but uh, it'll be something I like dabble back into for about a month here and there. But that's pretty much been the other than Gundam stuff. Um, still haven't got to that speed run of Final Fantasy VII. Oh,
Hmm.
Chapter 9. So, I can one shot Hell House on hard mode now. Um,
Ew.
so that's kind of the good news of that. But the
Hmm.
so if you want to get Shear's counterattack, the way that I found out to do it, like, so I just looked up a thing on IGN. It was like, here's how to get the stuff, and I'm like, oh, okay, cool. And they're like, the ways we know, and it's like, say no deal for the coin toss, and then take the highest cost Madam M thing. I was like, okay, makes sense, cool, got it, and it didn't work. So I'm gonna have to do it a third time now and go through all that nonsense with the Gundam ARM box pickup game, and then do the whole Hell House fight again, and then we'll finally get the Shears counterattack, where I get the last book I need from that chapter. So
I
far,
think I did. I think when I did it, by the way, I did no deal and like the cheap option. I think when I got Shear's counterattack. That helps you out any?
so the way that the one I looked up was like, you have to say, did you say a woman on that's good with the books or whatever for? I think
Yes,
that's
I did.
yeah, that's pretty much the thing you gotta pick.
Is that the only thing that matters?
I guess because you got to run into what's her name there at the front instead of talking to Sam after you talk to Madam M. You have to talk to I forget what her actual name is.
I mean, I didn't pick any of those, and I got Shears.
Okay, well that's just weird.
So I'm not sure what the deal with that is.
The game
Yeah.
does what it wants.
Okay, so note to self: when I get through all the nonsense, save before I
Make a separate save.
make a save before I even say, anything about Tifa. Got it. But
What dress was Tifa wearing for you?
the speed run, I just picked the first option, so the mature one.
Gustav, you had the sporty one, right?
Yep.
Because I will say, my second playthrough, I picked a sporty dress for Tifa, and I got Shear's counterattack also.
Huh.
Yeah, there's
The
got to
first
be a
time around, I
different
got
underlying thing, but I don't think what they're
maybe
talking about in those guides are it.
because
I
what
mean, maybe.
the first time I did it, I got something different. I picked the one where she's in a kimono and not the like China dress.
Yeah, that's what I did for the yeah, that's exotic. Mature one,
Right, yeah. So sporty's the China dress.
yeah,
I don't know what mature is. I haven't picked that one yet.
blue.
I think it's like what her actual dress was back in the original.
Was it blue like that?
Gotcha. So
Yeah.
it's like a dress.
Yeah, it was a proper dress. But anyway, point being, been annoying having to redo that. Also did all the hard mode simulator stuff and got the extra special secret level 7 difficulty one.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to be fun to beat. I tried it.
You fight Sephiroth?
So I didn't even get past Shiva on my first go, but I was completely exhausted. That was like right after the all-nighter, and I'm like, okay, let's go back to GBO2. I'm
Oh,
not
so you've
awake
actually like
enough.
done the 7-star hard challenge thing yet?
Yeah,
Is what you're saying?
I just started the 7-star and was just like, yeah, Shiva's taking way too long. There's no way I'm making it through all this. This is gonna be
Oh, so
just
there's
like,
multiple fights?
I'm guessing.
Yeah, it's a boss run, I'm pretty
Oh
sure,
wow.
right?
Okay.
Yeah, like I think you do like pretty much all the bosses and then more.
And there's like a
So
super ultimate ultra boss or some
yeah,
other bullshit.
yeah. So it's tons of waves of dumb is pretty much what I've heard. So yeah.
I'll
Uh,
check it out on YouTube. Sounds
the
good.
previous to that, with 3 people, you fight all the chapter 14 everything on hard. So I'm curious. Oh, and you actually fight them at the same time. You know
Nice.
how Hell House shoots out Tonberry? Well, how about fighting like the real one and then having more to fight at the same time? Look at that. But yeah, that was fun. So I got done that. Luckily, I one shot that one, but I've kind of got all the gear now at this point for the most part. So I need like 2 more items, which I need to actually look up how to find one thing where you start a fight with your limit break already ready to go, and then yeah, after I get that, I'm pretty much ready to do the speed run again and actually try to put up an okay time. But I'm pretty much just gonna see what I can do. Like if it ends up being like 12 or 15 hours, then so be it. It'll be 12 or 15 hours, but gonna at least make a complete run and then we'll submit it. But yeah, that's pretty much what I've been doing. So, and then the
I will
29
say,
hours of
like, if you haven't
craziness.
already, Magnum, you probably want to route. You probably want to like plan that route out too, like, and make notes.
Oh yeah,
If you haven't already.
I've been. That's one reason why I've kind of been not minding redoing a lot of this stuff anyway. Just to be like, okay, here's A, B. I can skip this fight. There's 3 fights in this chapter I can skip. Stuff like that, because you can just run and flee from half of them, and then
Hmm.
pretty much. I don't know if you're probably losing time sitting in the chair when you go like fight the Hell House stuff, but since you can just sit there on that bench, and the first time you got to do it anyway to get the next fight to go. But I'm just gonna like YOLO in and all damage, no healing, and then when I get to Hell House, just heal up on that last one there, stall it out a little bit, then heal up, and then just burn it down the way I've been doing it.
Hmm.
So, like some of that I've got planned out. I actually need to redo chapter 12 or something, whichever one it is. It might be 11. I can't remember the number now, but I got to redo one and practice it, and then other than that, get like that item that again allows you to just start with limit break, which is kind of OP because then you can just burn phases and then just be like limit break, I win. So
Have we gotten any confirmation if any of that's even going to translate over to the next part?
here's my guess without going into spoilers. So the next section, it just seems like they would start it with the I'll say it like this because I mean technically this would be they would start it with like the flashback as a tutorial mission. I've heard that thrown around. And I feel like that would be a thing, and then you would just kind of have to re-level from scratch. Feel like it's going to be a new level 1 to level up thing. Or maybe they let you keep what you got since it caps out at what 50? I think is where everything caps at.
Yeah.
So I wonder if they'll let you do that. But even though I've got like 5 trillion XP right now, kind of funny. My XP bar just keeps growing. So, but I'm guessing for the next one, you're gonna have to start over from level 1 and redo everything. But that would be my kind of guess, as they
I'm
show
hoping
the.
they let you pull a save file from the first one.
Yeah. Or like a new game
Like,
or some
Yeah,
sort of
like
reward. It's
yeah,
weird
I'm
that
kind of
you
thinking
get
it'll
all these
start you at level
post-game
50.
rewards and stuff, but like technically by the time you get to hard mode, it's not going to take you that long to get to 50 unless you really just did everything super underleveled. So like, there doesn't seem like there's any reward for like grinding through all this shit, other than just to say you did it.
Yeah, I'm kind of hoping you start the next game at level 50, and like maybe if
There's
you're
like a
new
new
and you don't
game
have a
plus
bunch of
kind of
stuff,
option or something.
yeah. But at the very least, I think you should have everything you had in the first game if you've played it in the next game.
that'd be kind of cool. Then I want
Because
them
that's
just
the
to
case.
have
Why is it even
hard mode.
episodic, right?
Yeah, so like your
Yeah,
weapons are busted, but you gotta catch up and level if they do that.
I wonder if yeah, just okay. Then they expect you to be level 50, I guess, for the next
I
one.
mean, I bet that people who start the next game are going to be level 50, even if they haven't played.
Yeah, it feels like it's not
Like
that hard to get there
maybe
either.
40 or something. Like
Yeah.
maybe 40 or 45, but I think the intention was
Well, I mean, yeah, you could just new game plus it
to be
to
like around max level. Yeah.
yeah, you can cap your character out either way in like 10 seconds. I mean, literally, you can autopilot it. I mean, that's what I've done with all the materia. Is I literally just like was in there doing stuff and like would just hear it and hit the button
Yeah,
a
like
few
the
times.
materia was harder to grind than the actual characters. Put it that way.
Yeah. But anyway, um, super tangent. How did we get on Final Fantasy again? Oh no.
You brought it up.
It
It's
was
your
my
fault.
fault. It was my fault. Oh no. Report. Just like I need to be reported for downswinging my entire team and getting kicked earlier.
Oh yeah, it's
Oh my.
Report
Oh
it.
man, and that got clipped too. Chad was
You're
like,
part of the problem, Magnum.
pretty much we had like an all Mudrock team and one guy swapped to a general, and I'm
Change
like,
the info.
Chad's like, we need to downswing him. I'm like, yeah, I'll do it right here at the beginning. And he's like, don't do it. I'm like, I won't hit the entire team. As long as I don't hit the
Totally hit
entire
the entire
team,
team.
then I can't get kicked for it. I downswung the entire team. Oops.
Oh my god.
Rip. But anyway, so let's go ahead and talk quickly about the Dewatch custom. Did anybody get it?
I
Nope.
didn't get it.
What do you guys think about it? I mean, I've got to play against it quite a bit, so I've got a couple opinions on it.
I think it's a fine suit. Like the beam bazooka gives it good options. Like with having access to a hard stagger, even if it does overheat your gun, it has good options in multiple situations. It can take out flight types. It can stagger normal suits. Have a fallback. It has a hard hitting melee follow up. So it's worry as much about hitting with the beam or the actual heat rod. That's combo potential. I'm assuming the heat axe works the same way as the normal dodges, where if you do a normal swing with it, it puts him to a knee. So like you can do that. It seems pretty good overall. Like I don't think it's a bad suit by any means. It's in the strongest of the three mobile suit groups.
It sure is. It's like a more versatile peasant, and the peasant was already pretty ridiculous. So
Mhm.
Yeah, the main combo that I've been seeing like kind of get adopted with it is knee stagger, knockdown, almo hoop, pretty much, or some kind of, depending on what you are. Like if it's a general that can dodge roll, then I see him just go in, knock him down, and then yeet. But like where I'm in a support half the time, I'll see them come at me and then melee me twice for the knockdown and then tomahawk. So that's pretty much been the two go-tos.
yeah, like if you're a fan of Scooty suits, you definitely want this. This is the true evolution.
Yeah, I definitely tried to roll on it. I was pretty hyped for it. But yeah, I mean it definitely feels pretty balanced, I think. At first I was thinking it might be a little much, but I feel at that cost range, everything moves fast enough that it actually, for how big it is, um is it just me or does it feel a little bit bigger than a peasant watch?
I think so. I think the Doge in general is a little bit bigger. And the custom definitely is.
Looks
Yeah,
sleeker
so
too. It has those nice has those big shoulders and such too.
yeah. Nice shoulders you have. Easier for me to shoot you and stagger you. Hallelujah, it
Which
doesn't have
considering
maneuver armor.
I was gonna say, considering how much Brett can do with that bazooka, it's kind of for the best.
Pretty much.
I'm surprised as that maneuver armor. Is BB Studio starting to learn moderation in generals?
Nah, fuck that. Give it maneuver armor immediately.
I mean, if it, oh
I
my
mean, a
gosh,
Mark II is Mark III is a pretty good indication, but that's another topic.
That's there. We'll get there.
yeah.
Oh my god.
Just wait a few seconds. We'll be there. But
Yeah, it's gonna be one of those episodes today.
um, I will say the one thing though that's kind of crazy about the suit is its health and its defenses.
Dummy thick.
That is crazy. Man, this one, the GM Cannon 2 is thick with 2 Cs. This thing's thick with 3 Cs. Ugh. Like you have what, 20k health? Like
Yep.
outright?
8. Just straight up.
450 straight up 20k health. Like This thing in if you take it into like mix up, you hit like 30k plus with parts on. Actually wait. Do you even need parts to hit it? Can you hit it naturally in a mix up? Die 4 times? Either way, it's got like what 26 or 28 in resist at the same time. Like this thing is ridiculous with how much defense this thing has. So yeah, I'm a fan.
Man,
I want it.
it's a bit
I
of
do
a
too. It looks
bit of a
pretty hype.
it's a bit of a shit post, but I improved the banner image for you.
Oh no.
That's an official edit from BB Studio, by the way.
Oh my gosh! hang on 1 second. Let me
I need to post this in a Discord real quick too. Hold on a second. We're gonna have to.
I got the look and I already know.
hang on. Let me. I gotta save this. Hang on.
It's even better. Shit.
Okay. Well, I gotta show it in place. I don't know how I'm gonna do this, but I'll figure it. We have the technology, guys. 1 sec.
Honestly, I just created a text source called redx and just typed an X, turned it red, and just like
Screen
resized
capped
it
it.
onto one of the stars.
Oh my gosh,
OBS
that is
powers activate.
okay. Yeah, we'll just do it that way. After this point, anybody like watching that skipping through this, they'll see like the first few minutes and they'll be like, okay, they're talking and whatever. I'm gonna skip halfway. Wait, why is the X here? Someone's gonna miss it. Okay, so here's the edit, guys. I got this. I can.
Ugh.
Oh my gosh, I'm bad at this. What's the font? What font size did you go with?
I think I just used Arial, whatever it defaulted on. Yeah.
No, but the size, like just 36.
Oh, I just typed and then resized it using OBS.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't even see like a thing for font size.
You know what? I've got another edit. I bet you can't guess what that is.
That's what I thought it was gonna be originally.
Oh, not a support.
Yeah.
I was expecting it. If that is the case.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do now. I don't know if I can rotate the text, but I'm just gonna put like not a support somewhere on it.
Downtime in a hangar with the quality high level memes.
Quality meme live edits here for all the shit posting needs.
Magnum, thank you very much. I appreciated your meme generation tutorial video, Downtime in a Hangar.
We just have an entire shit posting podcast. Oh my god.
Hell yeah, I'm ready.
Oh gosh, let's go.
After today's podcast, Gustav is going to do a makeup tutorial for everybody. Please stay tuned.
Oh man.
Sorry, I should get the shit posting in check though. I feel like I derailed us a little bit from the Dewatch custom. My bad.
Maybe I don't know.
Like I was saying earlier, though, this is gonna be one of those episodes. Like, spoiler alert, not a whole lot happened with this update. So
yeah,
so we got time.
We got some time this one, luckily. But yeah, Dewatch custom though. Back to a couple of final thoughts on the Dewatch custom for me is it definitely seems pretty balanced. And
yeah,
it's kind of surprising with how much health. I thought it was going to be like it would feel really OP because one of the big things with the Dewatch is when he got that health buff, it definitely kind of just felt like, I mean, the Dewatch kind of came back into the meta essentially. Like at 400, I think it is pretty top tier right now, especially people that play a lot of the Dwaj. Like that's their Dom barrage right now. Anybody who like main the Dwaj probably feels like that's their barrage right now at this point, because of just that they gave it a ton of health, plus all the other quality of life with it.
And it's a better
So,
category.
and then
They made it better, general.
now you have a better category. Yeah. I mean, again,
say
All that
this,
trading
at
wasn't
least they
for
didn't do the
nothing.
maneuver armor. Like if they did the maneuver armor thing, it would be a problem, I think.
I'll say
Nah, I
this,
should do it
Magnum.
anyway.
I think it's, I don't know if I'd say it's like perfectly balanced, but I'll say given the environment of the game in its current state, the suit like is fine. And I'll kind of elaborate on that a little bit more when we start talking about the Mark III. And mainly just of how pushed generals are, like in comparison to all the other push generals that they've been releasing, like it fits in just fine. But and as far as like a whole balance standpoint goes, I think it's probably a little bit too strong.
By the way, Emblem, do you know how to rotate text or rotate anything in?
I believe I know there's a way to do it. I would have to look if there is. Like I feel like I've done it once, but if there is, I haven't done it in so long that I can't really remember.
I mean, I know there's a rotate 90 degrees clockwise, but I'm like, I'd want to rotate
That's
it a
not
little
what you're
bit
trying to
less.
do, right?
Yeah, I'm like,
Yeah, I think there's a. I'm pretty sure there's a button for it. I'll try to see if I can remember.
okay. Well, for now, the shit posting will have to wait. But on a side note though, well here, Gustav, you have any other final thoughts on the large custom?
I mean, I feel like I want one just to give it a shot.
Fair
It
enough.
kind of bugs me that this bazooka is underslung again, so some of its clearance is a little whack. But like everything else about that suit is pretty crazy. Like the combination of tools that it has, and the fact that all that dodge training isn't going to go to waste. You actually have another suit that you can do that combo with and do it pretty effectively with is nice.
Yeah, pretty much.
Like even if you don't think it's particularly outstanding, just because of the stuff that it can do, you have to respect it when it shows up.
Wait, does it have a dodge roll? Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Pretty sure. It'd be
Yeah.
weird if it
I
didn't.
was gonna say they don't have maneuver armor, but it got a dodge roll. Yeah, that's right. It has one
Yeah.
dodge roll. That because I'm like, what was the big complaint? But yeah, I don't know. Some people are
Yeah, it's a
saying
little
that it
weird
would
that it
might
doesn't have.
feel better with a maneuver armor instead of a dodge roll. But I don't know. I think I kind of like the dodge roll just because I've played a lot of the Dom playstyle though. So
I think that's people who are coming from the old dodge though, just because of the combo. Like they just
yeah,
don't want to be in a rush. They're trying to get in.
yeah, that is true. Like I wonder if it could use
Like
with
if
an
you don't give
offense
a shit
system
about that beam bazooka other than to initiate, then like yeah, that's a big deal.
because it doesn't have offense system, right?
No, they should give it that anyway. Just
The raid version should probably use it now.
if not for the saber, at least give it for the
Downswing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be kind of cool. But real quick, just to kind of move through last week pretty quickly, we also got added, and if you guys have any extra thoughts on either of these, we got added a Pixie level 4. I have the daggers for.
Yeah,
Got
same
those
here.
yesterday. That was interesting. And on the stealth line, the Noct got added to the ticket shop, so be aware that the Noct level 2 or level 3 could be in the ticket rotation every now and then. As far as just whenever you have access to higher stealth, I mean, stealth is a pretty good gimmick that just kind of works. So even if the suit kind of might be lacking in some departments, just having stealth can compensate a little bit. I mean, that's been my outlook on stealth for the most part.
I feel you. I feel like that. I feel like the mileage varies depending on who you ask. I've talked to some people who think stealth is like the worst skill in the game, is completely worthless, and
Holy shit.
others that thinks it's really good. So I
Is
definitely
that for stealth or is that for
depends.
jamming? Because I
Stealth,
feel like
stealth.
I
that's
think
really
it's the
flip flop.
player.
That's weird.
Yeah, I mean, if it definitely varies. Like I've talked to people who say the pixie is completely like garbage because the stuff doesn't do anything. Um, just an example, and like not even so much like jamming, making it worse. Because I don't think jamming is as much of a hindrance on stealth as like some people like to think it is. Like it does announce your area, but I mean, I feel
I
like
mean,
most of
really,
the suits that have
Do you
jamming
think those are the
have
same
stuns to make
people
up
that
for
say
it.
both?
the gunner, I
Maybe.
would say, is pretty much the only suit that has much to say in the way of like, hey, by the way, you're jammed, and also,
Sorry, Magnum and
I
a
share
Zoc.
it. Oh, and the
And
again,
Visa
Sorry.
boy
I'm
cannot
sorry,
be sorry.
I don't have the suit that I've been waiting for to hop in the ticket shop. I'm sorry.
Out here talking
Oh
about
my
not
gosh.
docs and shit. What the fuck?
Oh my gosh. For real though, should be guys, by the way, anybody looking forward to the Zoc, this guy, um should be around 5 weeks it should be in the ticket shop if things continue going on the current path. So, looking forward to it, just saying. Same with the MLRS, somewhere around 5 weeks, probably give or take, plus or minus 3 or something. But so yeah, anything that like supports that can also share the info to somebody. Just having the jamming on certain things is like, well, it's cool, I guess. But yeah. I mean, and most of the time though, like again, if you're playing with a team, and here's what I'm curious, like when they say that it's useless, are they saying like I'm really wondering in the context they're speaking of. Because if I were to talk about team 5v5 play, this is a tournament, we're going hard, like I could probably see the argument that it could be useless, right? So,
That's why mileage varies. But
yeah. But
sorry, I wasn't my intention to turn this into a discussion of the viability of stealth.
I
It
mean
was
that's
more just me pointing out.
yeah. I mean that's kind of one reason why I mentioned it because I think because I've had this discussion with a couple of people too. I think
Hmm.
the stealth is like especially in rated matches and quick matches fantastic because there's a lot of times like I'm like they definitely should be able to see me right now. I don't think I'm far enough away to be hiding behind this corner and them not see me on the radar. But I'm gonna hope, and then I downswing with a knocked and knock them over, and it's like, haha! They should have seen me go around the corner and stop moving at least for a second
Magnum
while
knocks them
while
down.
I was shooting at them or something, you know. But like people don't pay attention to some of those little things, and when you see it jammed, you don't actually look that there's that someone's shooting at you, and you can see the little marker there for like 2 seconds. So any little thing like that, people overlook that a lot of times. But if it comes down to like a full on, if money was involved kind of tournament kind of thing, then yeah, I would say there's a few suits like that it stealth suits kind of fall short. But I mean, look at it. Almost any game that has stealth, there's a player base that plays it and can do
Mhm.
well with it. So, but
But
other
yeah,
than
I agree with you there. I think it's good. I think stealth is a nice mechanic.
so other than that, we got the Gyoku ground type. I would say is pretty balanced suit, and the Saikamizaku level 2, which is a very unique suit in the sense that it's not a Zeong, so it's not the perfect form of Saikamu suits, but it is definitely a really good suit once you get it mastered. Like that suit is
The ground
terrifying.
cookie is a support, right?
Yeah, ground goog is
Yeah.
a
Okay.
support, and I
I'm trying to
feel
think of the
like
right one. There's so many freaking Gelgoogs.
Now it is a
Like,
level
trying to which one.
2, so I think that's the 450.
Yep.
At that point, I feel like there's better options.
Just play the Jaeger.
Yeah, pretty much. So
Don't be a scrub. Just
But
play it anyway.
I think you can buy the level 1 though in the DP store now. Pretty much with any of these suits except for the Saikamu, you can just buy and try out at least now.
Mm.
But
Play
yeah.
the ground, you coward. I have enjoyed my.
I'll play the Jaeger.
Yeah, for real. Same.
But the other patch notes, which I'm curious to know what you guys think about these, we actually got some buffs and nerfs, unlike this patch. So the
Are
Desert
you memeing? I thought we
Gogu.
didn't. Are you talking
No,
about
I
last
mean,
week?
yeah,
Last week. Yeah, last week we got
Okay.
some buffs. The Desert Gelgoog got 1,000 health and stealth level 2 from level 1. How do you feel about that one?
The stealth is nice. I don't think that's what the suit needed, honestly. Like,
I'm hearing damage
I
from a
think
lot of people.
yeah, I think it needed more damage. I completely agree. Like, you have really good tools, but the desert Gogook has a lot of trouble finishing its plate, I feel. It's kind of one of the reasons why I switched off to MMP80 and went back to the Gogook beam rifle. Just because it's Gogook beam rifle, it's not the standard one. Just I need more punch. Like maybe you're supposed to combo it a little bit harder, but I just I don't know. I feel like you have to do a lot of work, in which in some cases the raid doesn't have a lot of time. And that's probably like the weakest point of the Gogoog is that you essentially have to combo off of your range options in order to do real damage.
Yeah.
But you're literally in a race against the clock unless the support's just off by himself, which in higher level play you like doesn't happen as much, honestly. So it makes it a little bit harder to get things done. Like the options are good. I just think it needs to hit
Mhm.
harder. The stealth is fine. I think that's okay. What was the other thing you said got changed again? I can't remember.
1,000 health. So
Yeah, I mean HP is nice. I would have I would have taken the health remaining the same if they gave me like 1,000 more damage on my beam rifle, or maybe just like an increase in its range mod or something.
yeah.
I mean, like the people that I see do really well in it had to lean really hard on the stealth. Just getting the jump on people, getting that combo and then just fucking off. Even
Yeah.
though they have
The
other
knee stagger
options,
helps.
even though they can still put out more damage, they just have to know when to fold
For
and
sure.
just let
It's a
other
big
people
deal
get back
for
in
A's,
there.
yeah.
Um Yeah, it's pretty much most of the time when I get hit by one, I'm like, okay, okay, he's gone. Okay, time to go deal with something else. And then they'll show up and be like, ah, knocked you over again. And I'll be like, okay, you got one more time, maybe, I believe, or they finish me off somehow sometimes. But yeah, sometimes I get 2 chances, especially if they miss with the knee stagger thing.
Yeah, I was gonna say the bigger shitty thing about that suit is just that it has this mobile knee stagger that it can fire on the move. So it's just like, oh, by the way, I nailed you in the back of the leg. Where did he go? Oh shit.
Yeah, it's got the runaway really good. It's just everything else. Like honestly, I feel like for the most cases, if a raid can't finish off the support from full health when it engages it, then it's probably in a bad spot, unfortunately. Like the games are so short and you really it take like if you have to engage the support, bully him up a little bit, disengage, reposition, and come back, you're probably taking it probably just isn't like a good enough suit in that case. Is like the tools are there and that's nice, but I feel like you have to be able to delete them because you're pushing for points in an 8-minute window. Um, in the case of a normal match, and really you need to be able to move on and do something else. I don't know.
I mean,
Maybe
especially when
I'm
the
being a
Mark
bit too
II
critical.
exists. But
Yeah, because I mean the Mark II will do that better than you will. Um,
Yeah, because it has just more definitive melee
I
on it
mean,
too.
that would be
yeah.
the level 2 though. So I guess, but I mean, even then, you
Rick
got
the
like,
Rick Diaz might even do it better than you do, if you wanna, like,
Rick
use
Diaz
Rick
just has
Rick
better
again.
output in general, and like more tools consistently that have like less downtime.
I mean, just thinking of a few that are better raids for just killing things. The G line assault, the BD2 that's at the 450 base cost.
Yeah, Blue Destiny will
Um,
always be there.
the G line light, the yeah, pretty much anything else around there kills stuff faster. So fair enough. But
I don't know though. Maybe we're just looking at the designation wrong though. Like maybe it's supposed to just kind of be a support raid, you know? Like you have all the stun options and you have level 2 stealth now. Maybe the idea is that you're in angles that the enemy's not expecting and you're setting up for your teammates.
yeah,
Yeah,
Maybe that's something to consider.
I do that a lot when I
like it's
play like
not
the
super
Pixie
slow,
and
so it
Rare.
can keep up with like faster teams. But I feel like if you have to
Mhm.
be that conscious about it, you're not going to be that survivable when that breaks up.
Yeah, and honestly, I
You're
think it
literally
makes it
gonna have
worse than the
to wait
mix
for the rest of
in
your team to
a
come
random
back.
group too, because you lack coordination. So you'll do the setup, but the randoms won't be in a position to follow up. You'll probably just get killed.
Yeah, or they'll yeet
Honestly.
at your setups and you'll just be killing them. Kind of like how Rambo
Mhm.
revives work, but it's just like Rambo like stun initiative.
I
Mhm.
wonder, I wonder how it would be to play it like in an ace match though. I wonder how that, like if you were playing ace for it, so you could go in and either protect your ace. Like that's one thing I've done before if I played like the Pixie, because then they're running at my ace, and then I'm just like, haha, and then I'm like, I'm the invisible bodyguard.
Mhm.
Surprise, motherfucker.
Yeah, pretty much. And then my the ace will finish them off or something. So like I've done that before. Um, so I wonder if you could,
Yeah.
and that's something I'm going to touch on when we get to the new suit. But I just wonder if that's kind of one of the designations they're trying to make it for, is maybe something kind of like that. Kind of what you said, play it a little bit differently in a team game. But even like for Ace, for instance, it has a decent job that it can do, other than just go kill that support.
Right.
But
Sorry, herp derp, I'm a general player that does not compute. I'm going to spam take to support at you now. Um, what
oh
you
my
mean?
gosh.
What you mean alternate roles in battle op? You DPS. Raid, I got shot by support. Raid not doing job. Take supports. Roar.
Oh god, take the mealies. Oh no.
Hey man, I spam that, especially when I'm like, after my fourth support me and there's nobody, as I'm like tackling the raid for the 15th time after knocking
Anybody?
him down.
Bueller?
That's
I
when
don't
I
know.
start to take the melees over it, because I'm like,
That just I just use take to generals myself. Like whenever someone's like take to supports, I literally just hit him back with a take to generals.
oh
Like
yeah,
screw you, dude. This brings out to that one Pixie match, Magnum. I think I was playing with you
yeah.
where like I was Pixie and I was dominating the support.
Oh my gosh,
And
you
the
were
one
wrecking
general
him.
dude gets killed by the support
No,
once
no, no,
and he
he
starts
didn't.
spamming take the
He got
supports.
killed. He got killed by like a general in front of me, and he
It was
started
still like
spamming take the supports at you, and then even like was swinging at you and stuff, and I was just like, oh my gosh, he is mad at you. Like, that was so dumb.
Uh, some players just don't have. I mean, I'm one to talk, but some players just don't have like any combat awareness at all. It's just like, dude,
He's like, oh
I've
man,
literally been grinding this support into the dirt the entire match, and like you're blaming it on me. Like, oof, oof.
yeah, like, I got smacked up in this last match. I was doing Desperado custom. And I was getting slapped around by a knock for a second, and then like by the second time, I was like, okay, no, I gotta turn on our third eye and just fucking piece this dude up. And every time he shows up, he either gets tackled, countered, or just hit, and then everyone else
Mhm.
falls up, gets melted.
because the first time, by the way, on that same guy, the first time he did that, it was on ruined or city or deserted city. There we go. And you were
Mm.
way over by like whatever that hallway is back there, and we were over here, and he gets killed by a general over here, and you were clapping the support at that time, and I was like right here, and I was falling in right here behind him, and like, yeah, I'm just like, there's no support anywhere. Take the raid that was
Yeah,
coming at me. I turn
The
around and shoot
phantom
him.
support.
yeah,
Ugh.
for real. It's like the support's literally being taken as you spam this, bro. Like, calm down.
But yeah, yeah. Anyway,
We digress.
downtime in the salt mine. Um, so yeah, Easy 8 weapon rack got some pretty significant buffs. 5% range damage increase, so 27 to 32. That's really nice just for its cannon in general. More than double damage on its beam rifle, so 400 to 900, and it focuses faster. And I think it's still slower by like 0.5 seconds from the normal Gundam ground type beam rifle, but at least it's not like it's a second or 2 seconds longer, so that's pretty nice. And then the firing rate for the machine gun, the 100 millimeter, got increased, and it gained 50 range. So pretty solid across the board there. Yeah, it feels good.
Yeah,
I think
it
that seems
definitely
pretty solid
deserves
now.
it. Like that's half the point of having all those weapons is that they should be like comparable.
Yep.
Or,
So good job.
I was wondering should make charge times longer so that they like force people to use charge parts in their builds.
like no, they're good though.
Then make the charge parts better, please.
They would have. I
Uh,
mean, yeah, that would be a whole can of worms. So they'd have to like increase the time between shots on bazookas and stuff like that. Because they couldn't
yeah,
just they couldn't just like
something would have to give.
yeah they couldn't just make all beam weapons worse. Sorry, that was just a stray thought. Not don't take it seriously. Um,
It's also a little weird too, because as we get into higher costs, like everything has so much more beam resistance too, and yet these suits are still so beam heavy. So it's like,
I will say the Mark III collapsed the Shiki. It does decent damage. Beam resistance, by the way, lol, omega lol.
No shield here.
especially when you have a lot of I was noticing even when I was watching some gameplay yesterday, like Japanese players have a tendency towards like really high defense builds. Like they got those bigger like defensive parts in there, not afraid to have an entire composition. Just
It
take
works out
all.
really well.
Because I guess in that case, it's kind of like how we were talking about clan matches where like people knock someone down and then move on to the next person.
Mm-hmm.
In that kind of gameplay style, you're just concerned about being up as long as possible to continue that
Right.
attack loop.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't matter how much you're hitting per shot because you're fighting as a team, and eventually these guys will
They
just
will
get
die.
apart.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's normally how it goes a lot in like most games like that. You look at playing just normal matches in like say League of Legends or something. You can go in and just do a draft, and half the time my build's definitely the YOLO. I have all damage items, but then like whenever it would be time to actually have some kind of team kind of game going on, or if we were doing some kind of tournament or something, it'd be like, okay. And then, like my first item might be damage, but then like my second, third, fourth are just all defense in some respect.
Yeah. So at least you're not hitting for like stock damage,
Yeah.
but the rest would just be yeah.
But so yeah, in most games that's kind of how it is. You're trying to outlast the enemy, not burn them down as quickly as possible, because you also equal glass cannon at that point. And then in this, you get to stagger people for 3 years if everybody combos right.
Yeah, and I think that's why some people are more for like offensive builds because you literally have something that stops the enemy. So it gives you more time to actually put that output to use.
Also, who needs damage parts when you've got the Mark II?
Oh god. Baseline just collapsed.
Okay. But so yeah, so cool little buffs. So yes. Now that we've mentioned some of that stuff, and let's go ahead and talk about the new suit. So Mark III, also Emblem, did you find out how to rotate stuff?
Oh, I put a message in, but you
Okay.
can't natively rotate in OBS apparently.
Rip.
It's
Okay.
cheap.
Or you can't do free rotate. You'd have to use the transform options. Without third party like plugins anyway. For what I've seen.
Okay.
Although I just asked Google real quick, so who knows.
The world may never know. So yeah, the Mark III. So I
It
was
sure is a suit.
I mean, not a support, so I'll go ahead and just,
Just
go
get
ahead
it
and
out there.
put it up there. That a new AU model that is not a support?
Is that a support? Nope.
Another general.
Yeah. Well, they just have to make it the better type so that it can just do a dodge roll, right? Now it's justified. It's a cannon suit that has a dodge roll, guys.
This cannon suit
Yep.
that doesn't stun with its cannons, though.
Yeah, that's kind of weird. There's a lot of weird things with this suit. And one thing I am going to bring up is the video here on
Like,
the
on paper, it should be good,
Ricochet.
right? Like, it's literally a successor to the Mark II that has more ranged options, but there's so many dumb caveats to it.
And well, okay, so it has the cannon, it has the beam. You just can't miss. Like it's
Yeah.
like that's what it feels like.
Get your
It feels
shots,
like
lol.
Not only does it not stun on hit, it also can't charge. And I think what was it we were talking about, like 2 shots of the cannon and it's pretty much done for successively?
yeah, you can break maneuver armor though with 2 cannon shots, but then it has 23 seconds cooldown overheat. What? Like when I found
I
that
mean,
out.
as long as you're smart to shots though, I mean I feel like you can get a couple of shots in with it. I think it's 55. Time between shots, 2 seconds.
Yeah, like it's fast on purpose so that you can break the maneuver armor, but if you do
Yeah.
that, then you gotta just sit without those being there. Like that's the trade-off.
Well, I feel like at that point you would like. I feel like
Just
if you're
switch
trying
to
to break maneuver
rifle.
armor, you're right. You would just use your rifle into a shot because if you have both at 70% stagger value, and then the rifle itself is 40. Yeah, you could set up a stagger just with your cannon and the rifle itself, assuming you have the weapon up.
Okay. So if that works, then that's fine. That was going to be my next question because I was like, and then that weird ricochet thing.
I feel
Well, I
like
don't
that's
think that's
still
true ricochet. Like
that is
when you guys were talking about it earlier, I was
that is
commenting
this
on it, but you
game
didn't
just
hear me.
being fucky.
Yeah, I mean, just think about it like this. Piercing has always worked that way. I feel like it's more extreme on some weapons than others, and I will say from the video that they have, it's really extreme in the case of the Mark III. I don't think I've ever seen it quite as like dynamic as that. But like a really good example is the skewer ray in space. Have you ever tried to shoot through like a rock or space debris and seen like the shot like pivot really far off?
Yeah.
Um, I know like
I saw it with
Draven,
the
for
Dodge
instance.
Custom even. I have a
Yeah,
clip
I
of
mean,
it.
Draven put up a shot of Gunner Gundam doing like fun little trick shots, shooting through the base. and stuff like that. I mean, I feel like the shots. I feel like it's always worked that way for piercing weapons. Although, like I said, some seem to be more skewed towards. I'm not sure what the word to use here, like deviation, I guess, than others. Um,
I mean, a couple of those shots though look like they're actually ricocheting off like a wall. Like toward the end there, he shot
I don't know
through, and
if
then it
if we're watching the same thing. Every single one of those shots seemed like they just found like I don't know. It didn't seem like they got off a wall. Maybe I wasn't paying attention though.
like the
I
one
mean, that'd
where
be
it's
interesting.
goes through two, and then there's that like box that's just kind of there, and then it hits the snow. Like it looks like it actually hits the
Mhm.
wall and then hits the snow.
I'm not sure. Maybe I may not have noticed. It just looked like normal pierce fire stuff to me. Let me look at it again.
Because I think it's the same kind of thing that happens with like missiles when you see missiles veer off in really weird angles. But just like certain beams do it that can pierce.
Like here, let me bring it up again. I'll tell you what second to look at. My internet will load here. Yeah, come on. Okay. You can see it about 47 seconds.
Yeah, I'm seeing the part you're talking about. I don't think that's Ricochet. I think it's just what me and I think it's what me and Gustav
Oh,
are saying.
actually, yeah, it
Um,
might. Yeah, it
It's
looks like the gun's
beam
going
bender,
through the first one and then just. Yeah, never mind.
a real
like it
beam bender.
it just seems like it has really crazy variance on the shots.
Yeah,
But I
pretty
don't think
much.
it's like true Ricochet.
I wonder what values for those kinds of weapons makes that
Mhm.
happen. Because I know at least for the missiles, sometimes it's because like friendlies are nearby and it tries to veer around them. Or
Mhm.
sometimes like when you're mid animation because the models are so accurate for where their weapons come out of, they'll get hit and it'll veer up at a weird angle too.
'Cause, yeah, the missiles will do some weird things. If you're aiming next to certain objects, then like the barrage missiles will go. Like if you try to aim for someone's legs, and then you're like same map, but that little metal piece that goes kind of stretching across on one side is kind of right there.
Flying.
Like if you're looking at the base, it's just to the right.
Mm.
Like it'll if you look at that ramp at all with anything. Now the one that's probably the worst with it is if you're trying to aim at somebody on it with the MLRS, your missiles just go off into space, even though you're like uphill looking down right at them, and there should be no question that you're aiming at a arc thing, but because there's that little ramp up forward and then down, it's like, oh, well, you're aiming at that little arc. Well, we.
And I
So
know the more
Yeah.
obvious case of that, and it's something about like positioning versus where the cursor thinks it is in the
yeah,
world is the platform on Arctic base, some of those pillars too. And not only the pillars, but the shuttle itself. Like the little support thing that holds it. If you're really close to it and technically your reticle is on it and you try to like tackle or do something or like even like a swing, it'll whip you all the way around like you're facing the other way. So you'll
mm,
just tackle it going backwards.
yeah. There's some weird things with that map for sure.
I'll just say the takeaway for the Mark III beam rifle is it's a wily beast. Don't shoot yourself in the face.
And
Could you imagine stabbing
it
somebody and your bullet ricochets right back into your mouth? Like, that
like
would be
Yeah, I
funny.
just, I just, I just recreated it with the Gunner Gundam.
yeah, and I mean in general you should be careful anyway, right? Because it's a piercing weapon. So it's very tempting to shoot it into a crowd, but if some of that crowd comprises your team, unless they're already on their ass, you probably should watch which angle you come in from.
I will say that's one of the benefits of having a piercing weapon is being like, oh no, my teammates dying. I wish I
You
could
can jump on,
help
yeah.
him, but he's in the way.
Right through him.
And then you're just like, I can save you, teammate. You, no, you're getting hit. Well, boom, I just saved you. No big deal. But yeah,
You
like,
can thank me later. Oh, he died.
but
Because
yeah,
some
I'm
people,
just,
they just get so taken aback by the fact that they got stunned by a teammate. It's like, I got fucking hit? What? And then they don't take advantage to run away.
so yeah, that's all that is. Just some wonky gun tip, because it's aiming at the reticle based on the where the gun is, and since it's inside an object, it'll
Oh.
veer off. Like I just did that same thing. I could probably pull this up. Do I still have that up? No, I don't. Okay, never mind. But I just had it sticking through the wall of one of the buildings here, like the edge of that same structure that I thought it was actually bouncing off of. I kind of got close to it, and then it shot over, and I almost hit the second one there at that 45-second mark that I was talking about, like, or 47 seconds. Like the one even further to the right, I just used that instead of having a mobile suit in front of it. I just used that to cause it to veer off. So it's just the wonky aiming. That's all it was.
Yeah, I mean, that's still something I could have a beef with this game about when it comes to like model versus reticle and like positioning in the world for when you're trying to shoot certain weapons. Because it's not just certain weapons, it's just certain form factors for suits like the Hangar or like the Kaplant and stuff. And some of that also has to do with like camera positioning because some of those suits are just really big and they're just taking up all of your screen.
And for goodness sake, please just give the Zagok either firing out of its right hand or left hand. Like, after it starts shooting out of one, please don't make it suddenly be like, okay, I'm over here on this wall, so pew pew, tink, pew. Ah, great. I could have staggered you, but I decided to use my left hand and plink the metal next to me. The stupid beam. Like, that is the most obnoxious thing when you do that. Like, Emblem, have you had that happen? Because I know you play
Of
some of
course.
the Zagaki.
Yeah.
For sure.
I mean,
Like,
you shouldn't have to think about it that much, right? Like, it's not intuitive at all.
well, and the thing, I think I honestly was like, oh, well, maybe it's because I'm moving to the left or the right that it's kind of doing that. But for some reason, it just seemed like it'll just randomly, I'm like, I'm running this way, pew, pew, sure, pew. Why? I'm just like always going in the same direction. Why did you use your other hand for no reason?
Yeah, at the slightest provocation, it'll just switch.
But it's aiming at the same point. So if you're just far enough away, no,
But it's not, because it's
no,
model
Recognized-
accurate. If it wasn't
recognized
model
intent.
accurate, it would fucking
yeah.
aim at the
If
same
it
know,
wasn't
point.
model
the High
accurate,
Gog
the
would be
High
an
Gog wouldn't be
awkward,
like, I've
dangly
got my
nerd.
dangling missile arm over here. Let me just shoot myself in the face with
Like, I don't
giant
care if
missile.
it looks stupid as long as it fucking works.
Yeah,
Ugh.
my gun could be down
The game
here,
already
and I
doesn't
need
look
that
super
rocket to
great.
come out
It
of my
doesn't need
chest,
the
okay?
extra, like, accurate presentation. Like, I'm good. Make it like Doom Guy. I don't give a shit. As long as I'm actually able to hit something with this where I'm fucking aiming the reticle.
Ugh.
I conjure projectiles from the center mass of my mobile suit. Thank you very much.
Yeah, right?
God damn it.
Maybe my cannons missed because they were pointing upwards, and my reticle was on the target. Like,
Yep,
come on,
I'm
bro.
sure it looks really good in a replay where this game doesn't even have that feature, but you know, cool.
I know. It's nice in spectator mode.
Oh,
but
man.
I don't give a flying fuck when I'm in a match.
Okay. For real, though. Real talk. Oh, man. But, as far as the Mark III, one thing we said earlier, and, the Desert Goog, right? One thing I was going to touch on with that is I wonder, was this something that they were just like, well, this could just be space only, but technically it can go in the ground, so yeah, we'll just put it on the ground too. Because from what I've heard from people trying to play it in space right now, is it feels pretty good.
right.
So
I think it fits mold for a good spacesuit.
Like, I just wonder if this is like, yeah, we meant this for space and we balanced this for space, so, but it can also go on ground.
Like the Yakushiki. Haha.
Yeah, I mean, even the
That's
even the
exactly the
preview
plot to
video was
Yakushiki.
entirely
Pretty
in
much.
space. Yeah, it's amazing in fucking space. Like the first time I took it out in space, I was like, "Holy shit, the game has changed, baby. Let's go!"
I'm actually
It's so
liking the
responsive,
Hyakushiki with the
and like the vectors on the melee are like fucking ridiculous. The beam actually feels good. It's like, fuck it, this thing's just in its element now.
which I use shrapnel bazooka, but yeah, I'm digging it more in space than on the ground. Like I said in that, like, the clip thing there, when I started posting it everywhere, when I had my pit crew repair me, that was my first and probably best game I'm ever gonna have in the Shiki period. And
It's
yeah,
one of those suits that really takes advantage of that extra axis of movement. Like it actually matters, and I actually want to use it.
They should still buff it a little bit more though.
Hell yeah. Make that beam rifle
Magnum.
more potent, give it more melee damage, like fuck it.
Let's think about the Mark III like this. So let's live in a world, right, where the current boosted pseudo supports don't exist, and the Mark II maybe is a little bit more toned down. It might be hard to imagine that might be a completely different game.
hang on,
But
hang on, hang on. Oh, you're asking a lot, man. Like
like let's just imagine that the cannons
I didn't get that much
on the
sleep.
full let's imagine the cannons on a full armor ground type are shrapnel shells, and same thing for the gun cannon type D or whatever it is, like the shrapnel shells, and maybe it's bazooka, it's its main stun, or something like that. So if the Mark III, like if the power level wasn't all they'd already set up precedence with the pseudo support generals with the other suits. Like let's just imagine BB Studios is an organization that makes actually nicely balanced mobile suits, and let's say that the Gundam Mark III actually decently balanced hybrid between a general and a support, where you trade off your secondary main stun, you keep the damage output of the cannon, but you trade off the stun, but you have a primary stun like a general does, and you soup up its mobility. So it's essentially like just think about it. It's like it's not as good as other generals. One melee attack. I think it's really good as force injection too. Like it has maneuverability comparable to other really good support or generals. Like it's on par with like the Alex, 70 boost, or 70 thrust, 72 turn speed. Like that's pretty good. 5k HP on the shield. It has a piercing beam rifle.
Fuck that up.
You're limited to one swing, but you have balancer. You're not as held back as other supports. You can roll. Those heavy cannons aren't slowing you down.
Somehow.
Like, do you think maybe somebody at BB like woke up from their fever dream that all generals should be like super, like all hybrid generals should be super disgustingly pushed and like really mean and sometimes better at their job than the original? And like, is the Mark III us living in a world where like hybrids in battle op make sense? Like,
And almost the Dewaj custom.
I don't know. I think the Dewaj custom, like, I'm
Dodge
surprised
Custom's
they
a
didn't get that
different
bitch
beast.
maneuver armor.
That thing is pretty much a pseudo raid that actually is really
Okay,
confident.
fair enough. I
Like
would
mean,
that
agree with you.
issue.
I mean, it might have
I would
been the
agree with you if
first
it didn't
step.
have the knockdown option. Like they could, if they
Oh
left it
yeah,
the way it
true, I
was and it was a
guess.
raid in the current environment, I think it'd be fine. But doesn't it? It has 2 stuns, right? Like, doesn't it have the beam as well?
Oh shit, it does,
Like,
doesn't it?
this- like
Yeah.
maybe
It can
maybe
flash
that
your
would work
cannon.
if they
Oh
got
my
rid of
gosh.
one of the stuns, or maybe left it with 2 but dropped the charge stun or something. Like
Yeah,
I don't know.
I keep forgetting that it can flash you. I forgot. Yeah, I forgot it actually was a flasher like the other one. Oof.
Yeah, because it's got that as a holdover, because they're still expecting people to wanna initiate as opposed to just play at range. But now you just have the option to do both and be really scary and have to be respected at both in that suit.
Yeah, because I mean, compared to the Dewage, you have you still have two stun options. You have a variable stun option that gets a knockdown. Um, you still have a dodge roll. Like you you have two. You can combo melee, and you have a hard hitting like follow up on the ground compared to like the normal one. Like I don't
I
I don't
kind
think
of
it's I think it's a little bit too pushed.
I will say the only thing that saves it is that its damage output with its modifiers and stuff isn't the craziest thing.
Yeah,
So
the multiplier isn't that severe on the
yeah,
down, even though it's
so
still
like
decent damage.
yeah, it's still decent damage, but you don't get much of a multiplier. Whereas like the Dewage is like, I don't care if
Melts
you're a
anything.
general, I'll yeah,
But
your legs are gone. So
But yeah, like that's just my take on the Mark III. Like
but
it can, like the Mark III got
that
put
was a
in by
long build
accident.
up. That
Like
was a
there's a
long build up to
parallel
that payoff. But yeah,
there's a parallel dimension where
where this is the
GBO2 is a
norm.
balanced game and the Mark II slipped in the cracks and got put into our game for some reason. That's what the Mark III is. Like somebody fucked up and put the Mark III in and they used the balanced version from like Bizarro World GBO2 and
Oh
Or
my
like
that's
from
what
the
gosh.
we
beta days, and there's just like, "This is what it was supposed to be like, let's see what happens." It gets
yeah.
absolutely
Like
destroyed.
they lay the groundwork for a suit and then go to the dartboard and just with like it has every skill on the game on it and they like start throwing darts at it and whatever sticks is they like fucking add skills onto suits. They forgot to do that part for the Mark III and that's why it's underwhelming. Like that's what we've got right now.
Oof. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
okay, so
Like, if we didn't have better examples, this thing would actually be pretty confident.
If it was a
But
two-star,
I will say,
absolutely.
the
if it
bigger thing
was a
is that
two-star.
I was seeing some matches yesterday, and people who are playing it, they're getting pretty good stats. Like, they're going, like, top damage, 9,000, 90,000 plus. They're doing really good at
Hmm.
confirming kills because they're always there doing something. That suit is very good at consistency at range. It's always going to be hitting something. It has moderate damage. Every hit that it's doing is like upwards of 2,000 at the very least, right? So it's still taking out
Hmm.
decent chunks, even if it's not like a devastating attack every time. So in consistency, if you can get the range, you will pad out your stats really well and you'll be contributing. But if you're expecting to be like this weird ace sweat monster in that suit, you're either going to be fighting really hard to do it, or it's just not going to happen at all. Like, you really have to temper your expectations for what kind of like shit this thing can do.
I still feel it needs some kind of bump of something though, overall. I mean, of
It just
course,
needs its
where
cannons to be
everything else
stupid.
exists.
Just give it
Like
the Mark II's
Because
Vulcans.
that's reality, right? Like, in an ideal setup for this game, um, Mark III would mark the standard of what pseudo categories should be like. But it's not. It's far from the first. Other things that set a precedence for how crazy they can be. It's too late. Unless they do a massive overhaul on some of those suits. So now it's lagging behind when it really shouldn't be because it's supposed to be the successor to a suit that's already super busted in this fucking game.
pretty much.
I will say though, like apparently the Mark III, from what I've heard, is supposed to be pretty bare bones. Like even in lore, it's pretty bare in
Yeah.
regards to like what it has and what it does. So I mean, there could be like full armor variants, or that one
Yeah, there
manga
is
where
the
it
full
had
So
armor.
something
There
else.
is a
But
full armor.
here is the other thing too. I mean, if we get the full armor variant and it's a support, then I'm okay with that. But it has apparently two beam sabers in its shield, and then like another one besides the one it already has.
I
So
was
like,
expecting it to be able to use a secondary beam where the shield had like two of them forked like that because there's art where it shows that. and it can use it as like a big beam shield, like saber thing or whatever.
Yeah,
Kind
so
of
like,
Sonagi's BMAX.
Yeah, something like that. And I'm kind of bummed out they didn't go that route.
so that would be cool if we could like do something cool with that, and then we'd have a different melee, and then maybe give it a little bit more of a boost in damage that way or something. I don't know, but it feels like it's lacking a thing. It just needs one thing, and I think it would be solid. Because right now
Give it
you
top
have to.
priority melee.
Yes.
Give it a melee combo controller.
Like,
I don't know. Maybe this means we're gonna get Gundam Tertium. Is that a thing? That's some re-rise.
okay,
I was
okay.
like, what
I was
the
like,
fuck are you talking
it's
about?
like Gesundheit.
I was looking at the develops into, like, apparently the Mark III develops into Night Gundam, the Gundam Tertium, and the Gundam Mark IV. So maybe we're gonna get Night
So
Gundam in
here's
the
the
game.
thing. Mark IV might be a possibility in terms of how old it is, because
Cool.
it came out before Double Zeta. 5, I think, is like right on the edge, and it's actually the predecessor to the Dovin Wolf.
Yeah, that's one.
Someone was also talking about the full armor Gundam Mark II, which is a different thing from the Super Gundam, and that wouldn't be that bad either.
Yeah, and apparently one of the SD Gundam games, the Mark III uses the 2 beam sabers and a shield as a weapon too. So
See, like,
there's
fucking,
already
come
a
on. Like,
precedence for
if
it.
you wanted to be
Yeah.
at least, for the, even that's not good, right? Like, just for the sake of variation, they could give it, like, the, what am I thinking of? The fucking, they could have gave it the beta swings with that frontal, like, downswing, where it's, like, lunging forward. Because it's literally just stuck to its arm.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Just have it do stabbing shit.
I don't know. I'm trying to think of
And
what
then there
else.
was an Octopus.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of what else it could get. I mean, again, like right now it's just don't miss law. Get good, and it's fine. But I will say it's definitely one per team max. Like,
Yeah, I wouldn't want to have 2.
you're not gonna want to be like, well, we're going all support comp, but let's throw 2 full armor ground Gundams on a team and laugh at the enemy team as we barrage them with everything. So
That's the other thing too. Like, it's mid to long range with its stuff, but it can't trade with other range suits like that.
and that's
It's
another
all
problem
that.
too. Yeah. So
That's because it's a balanced general, guys. Point.
I mean,
But
that's
it's
the
bad
thing.
because it's balanced.
I
It's
mean,
actually just bad.
it's like
The game is so imbalanced that the Mark III just can't compete because it's like actually it's an actually reasonably balanced hybrid, and it just doesn't fit in
I
with
can't
the
take
broken
this.
generals.
I can't
Like,
take
it's
this.
funny and
Like,
true, but it's
my
still
tired
funny.
brain right now.
Like BB fucked up. They released a mobile suit with balance, and it's just like nobody wants to play that. Nobody plays the balanced fun cards in Magic the Gathering. They play the broken dumb stuff like Oko. That's why I got
Okay.
banned.
Okay.
I was gonna say that's why people have to ban shit all the time, because y'all are on some bullshit. You guys
Pretty
learn that
much.
shit within like the day that shit drops, and it's just not fun for anybody else. Like, the fuck, I also gotta keep everyone else in line.
So, I mean, well, we've got an example of what a balanced suit should be. Now they need to do a full.
Could be. It probably still needs Vulcans.
Because that's the thing, right? Like, the meta is not there for your benefit. The meta is there so that you're aware of the things that are going to be to your detriment.
For real. Absolutely, I agree. Are both the beam sabers on its shield like its main ones? Could you imagine this thing lost its melee option when its shield gets destroyed?
That'd be fucking hilarious.
Oh my gosh.
I wouldn't mind that. Like, just don't get body rocked, right? But, like, at least give it the chance to do something a little bit different and cool.
Yeah, they wouldn't have that though. Like, and if the melee was a weapon, they would just have it be in a destroyed state, right? Or it'd just be
Yeah,
wrecked.
like it
Oh,
just
okay.
wouldn't
That
defend
makes more
anymore.
respect.
But
I still like your like, guys, I figured it out. This is what's happened. They alternate timelines in reality.
we gotta get
That's
you
how
like
it
a fucking
exists.
Yeah.
chalkboard. We gotta get you a
Alternate.
marker board in the background. Like, ugh.
You know how NASA discovered a alternate universe or whatever? Like this suit came from there. Like when they like breached into the alternate reality, like the Mark III slipped through. That's why it came in.
He rewrote the
Everyone's acting
code for the one
surprised.
that we were supposed to get. Like, what
Yeah.
the fuck?
The one we were supposed to get had
The original
extra
Mark III,
weapons.
yeah. Yeah, it was gonna have extra weapons
So
and
in
2
that
melee
other
swings.
in that other bizarro world, they're like, this thing is fucked up. What the hell?
No, it had
Yeah,
five.
like
It had 5 melee swings.
yeah,
Mark
Twitter's
III just
exploding.
replaced the Mark II entirely. Like, why?
Oh gosh. Oh no. Oh, I just imagine a world where every time you go from like Mark II, Mark III, Mark IV, it just gets even grosser every time you get an
Like
iteration.
the Mark suits just end up being like the new meta standards for real.
Oh no. Well, I'm glad that's already broken. We've
Yeah, they fucked that up already. Because here's the crazy thing too, right? Like on top of that, this is the update where they added in a new level of the stamen, which is already like a general mainstay for high cost, even though it's like not as great. So now it has to deal with another suit at a higher cost that's still going to be getting into its asshole whenever it can't like keep it at bay at range.
well, and that's pretty much kind of one thing I was gonna ask. So I guess we can go ahead and talk about that now. If somebody's gonna spin, and again, I'll probably ask it when we're going through the notes and stuff, and then other parts of the patch. But somebody's gonna spin on the Mark III or the Stamen, and you need a general that could be your possible 600 general. Which one would you say they should spend their tokens on? Personally,
Eh,
I would say take the chance of possibly getting a GPO4 from that same Gao carrier and going for the Stamen.
I
I was gonna
agree.
say if you fuck
Salmon,
up, you gotta
for
hold
sure.
that L, but like I say if you already have the level 1, don't worry about it. But if you don't have it, then yeah, definitely go for it.
Yeah, because if they're needing a 600 general, I think it's well better than the Mark III. Just because again, you can't really. I mean you can, but and it'll probably work some way. Whatever, but
Like I have
I
a certain fascination for at least giving this suit a shot.
oh
But
yeah,
yeah,
I
I'm
want
sure.
to play it. I like shooty suits, so I'm in there. Let's go. I've already wasted another 2 spins trying to get it, today, and
Trade a Mark III for Quells.
so
But
I mean,
this is also coming from
deal.
someone who can see the potential. Like I can see the potential of the Mark II just from playing the Barzam because I don't have the Mark II, and like once I get that, like my tune might change entirely if I have both to compare.
You've been doing some awesome work with the Barzam. Just saying. Like, I think that might be one of your top suits.
Like I stand some dumb suits, but as long as I can make them work out, like
It does
if
surprise me
it's
though.
stupid
Esau
but it
plays a lot
works,
of
but it's not
Alex.
stupid. Yep, it's true. It's still my top,
Oh yeah.
even though
But I'm just saying, recently though, since the Barzam came out, I've been like, yeah, Barzam's pretty meh. I kind of want it for my shrapnel bazooka, but when I see it,
you know what the funny thing is that the Barzam it has the output that I wish the Alex had. And it's
Right.
better now that I'm at 500, but because it's a higher cost, the suits that I'm fighting at that point are still comparable in defense, which is a little rough, but at least I had the higher level tools to at least like make it up a little bit. Because I've been running 450 Alex unrestricted with the level 2 rifle for a long time before they changed that, so I'm just kind of used to that.
Yeah, because Alex is like a pea shooter. You really have to make up the difference.
Yeah,
in
like
close
it's
quarters.
amazing when you're just playing them at range. The minute you need to finish something off or you become the ace, it's just torture.
yep, like definitely can feel that. I feel like I plink people to death, but I mean, it's got like it's where you got so much like shoot. You shoot a lot. I should like it more, but I don't have any like insta clap. Like I need that,
Yeah.
you
So
know,
like the Barzam, because it has like the potential to go 50 plus mod on a general
pretty
suit
much.
with that, and not only that, but has a higher output with its rifle while also charging and firing about the same. Like that's an amazing upgrade. Like if the Alex's rifle behaved like that, I'd shit my pants. Are you kidding me? Like that'd be so hype.
Yeah, you
But at
just
least
trade off
there's
a
a
lot of
suit that
stuff
can
for
do it. Yeah. And it also is just a suit that has more maneuverability, even though it doesn't have a shield.
Mm.
But I can trade that off. Like that's not a big deal. So it's been a good experience with the Barzam.
Disclaimer: we're not saying the Alex is bad. The Alex is a very good, strong suit. It's just
Yeah, like I'll
he's
still clap.
in
I'll still
comparison.
I
clap
feel
O's in
like
that suit.
I
So
feel like
like,
you have to
Bro, every time you
say
say
that.
something negative about a mobile suit, you have to disclaimer because, like, if you don't sing a suit's praises, you automatically hate it.
No, man, I
As
just
Mhm.
far as like
I hate it. No,
out, like
yeah,
people
no,
will hate
man.
it.
like the stuff that I dunk on it's because I've played it so much and stand it so hard. Like it's
Mhm.
even outside of this game is just one of my favorite suits. I just like the form factor.
Alright.
I like its origin and all that stuff. Like that shit's just cool to me.
And Alex is sexy as fuck. I feel you, man.
Oh yeah, for real. I can agree with
It's
that.
a nice looking
So
mobile
like
suit.
being able to just like run that shit super hard because like before I even had the Barzam or other like more reactive suits, that's the thing I like about it. And it's something that we now know on paper, it just has better turning radius than most things. And that shit feels fucking good.
I will say, just from how it looks and stuff, I have to say, yeah, I know when I'm fighting an Alex. Yeah, it looks good, for real. Every time I see one, I'm like, oh well, hello, Alex. Normally that's followed by I'm about to destroy you, but that's also because I'm a support
Intensify.
main. Yeah, like its ballistic resist is almost
It's
nothing.
not great.
So I'm just like, oh,
It's
just
funny
like
though
somebody
because
needs some
that suit
missiles.
because it was so maneuverable and like reactive back in the day, it's one of those suits that taught me like how to try to survive better in a clusterfuck.
Oh yeah.
And
Oh,
like
it
now
has
that
double dodge
we're
roll.
starting to get more like force injection as well as like maneuver armor and all this crazy shit. Once I start getting those suits, like fucking forget about it. Like I don't even have to think about it as hard.
But so yeah. Overall though, kind of back toward the Mark III. Any other thoughts about it other than
It
could
being
be
from Bizarro Land.
yeah, pretty
Everything
much.
that I'm everything that I'm thinking about that suit is just me thinking about the hypotheticals of what it could be without even having it. So like, nah. I mean, as far as what it pertains to and actually has, that's about it.
I mean, I'm trying to think. I've been looking at the numbers too. It's got okay base damage, but even its mod, I mean, its mod isn't that bad for its range damage as well. I don't know. I just feel like here's one of the big problems, and it's got it's a blue that doesn't have crazy just everything, and
No, I
you're
said it's a
expect to
blue.
be
Is that an upside or a downside?
we'll see. That's the in this case, it's a downside, right? So
Hmm.
yeah,
Better
see,
if it was, because if
so
it had the
if it
type
had
advantage,
just
it would have actually been
you
a
would
bit
be
more.
clapping everything like just to get rid of the dodge roll. Get
Yeah,
rid of
you're
the
talking
dodge
about
roll
having
and give me it
a
yellow.
piercing weapon on the move for support. Like that would be insane.
Yeah, give me that,
Like
and
essentially,
because then
you
you
just have
shoot
to
the
put
beam.
your arrow on the ground.
Yeah, you shoot the beam and then you cannon. Like that's its combo. You shoot beam then cannon. Then you go back, shoot beam then cannon. You know.
Like
And
imagine if the cannon had the same kind of output as the heavy Gundam's cannon, where like even uncharged, it just fucking chunks.
yeah, like that just that sounds
But again,
really
going into
juicy.
hypotheticals, let's say it's the suit, so like it doesn't matter.
I mean, that is a pretty hot take, though. It's its stats are comparable to the GPO4, so Like if they dropped a dodge roll because supports don't get to have nice things.
Yeah, and just had it be the ground version of the O4, like that would have been crazy.
I feel you there. Like HP values are pretty similar. It has 1,000 more HP. It has less slide resistances. And defensive wise, the GPO4 is just better overall.
Mhm.
Like
It
it
kinda
has
has to
higher
be 'cause,
live and
like,
beam. Yeah, for
it
being a
actually
support.
it pertains to what I was talking about with the Mark III in terms of its consistency, like, it's not high output. I don't think anything on that suit even charges, does it?
No.
It's just across the board does decent damage.
Right.
Which I
So
mean,
it needs to be able to survive in order to, like, finish things off and to contribute. Because it's not one of those things that you fire something at once and it's just like, "Oh, look at all that damage, it feels so good." Like, no. You're gonna have to work at it with that suit.
again, I just wonder because of its stats and stuff. I just wonder if it was kind of meant to be a space suit, and they're like, well, we could put this on the ground too, right? Yeah, okay, let's do it.
Yeah, I
And I
guess so.
wonder,
There's no reason for it not to be.
well,
Yeah,
yeah,
it at this point it
That's
should
how I
just need a
feel about
GPO
the
suit before a
that's how
ground
I
suit
feel
too.
about the, Cabrera in the first place, is that there's
Mm,
no reason it shouldn't have not been on the ground just for shits, but here we are, so.
I just wonder if though it's mainly balanced for space. That makes sense. Kind of like in the sense of the Shiki, right? Like
Yeah, I think it
still wonder if that's kind of its
mm.
main flaw, because everybody's like,
I
well,
mean,
this is underwhelming, and I just wonder
even
if there's gonna
physically
find a spot in space though, like in like
like,
the
even physically, if you look at the suit, its body and the form factor looks more like the Shiki, because it's
it
based off
does, yeah.
the prototype state of both of them, more or less. Which is funny because they say that on the wiki that it's, like, directly derived from the Mark II, but it's like, other than the movable frame, what? Like, everything else about the externals of this suit looks nothing like it.
But other than that, can't think of anything else though that's about all I got. It's just kind of the big. I just wonder if it's they're really balancing it or designing it for like I want to use this in space, so let's try to balance it for space play. Because again, I really think, and
Mhm.
I know I've said this before, but I the whole space specialization, ground specialization, I don't think that fixes a suit for space or ground. I really think we should have different stats even for space and ground to kind of balance the game better, which might not make as much sense in the sense of you're taking the same thing into space, but I feel like that's some of the problems.
I mean, it's a different environment for the suit to operate in, so it should be different. Especially if it's not specialized for either, right? Like, there should just be stark differences. And that might be something that would be nice if one has a specialization for the other, then, like, whatever it doesn't have a specialization for, when it goes into the specialization one, its stats don't change. It just retains what it would normally be like because it has that.
That'd be kind of interesting.
What's the preference for the suit? Oh, it's space.
Space, I'm pretty
Okay.
sure.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Just because where it is space, I'm like that's kind of was. I mean, I pretty much just come up with this literally right before this because we were talking about it a lot in chat, and it's. But yeah, that's kind of my big theory on it. It's like, well, it can go in both, but we pretty much designed it to be a space suit,
Mm.
so use it in
So
space.
so Maniac is in chat and he just read something. There was something that Melson pointed out to me. Notice 600 in general with its suits that they're throwing out there. And it's that it seems like they're trying not to go meta. Almost like the devs are trying to just do unique mobile suits in general. But now seeing how they did it, people say it's crap. And I think a bigger
It's just
thing
because
about
people are
that
shy
is
away, right?
because I think the bigger thing about that is because they're trying to just make them unique in terms of behavior, like, they're not worrying about the, categories that they're covering anymore.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah, it's like we were joking last night, right? They're
Mhm.
this is a sign that they're getting ready to just have all the suits going forward to be
Yeah,
general.
and it's funny because, like, when we first brought it up, we
Yeah.
brought it up in a positive light, like, if they did this and if they actually adhered to it, the game might be in a better spot just because they're obviously not fairly catering to all 3 categories. So, like, it'd be better if they just got rid of the concept altogether and just focus on making them unique, but, like, balanced across one category.
Yeah, I would like that, especially now that we're
Uh,
you know
I
not
personally
having
wouldn't.
the.
I would honestly be upset if that's the direction they took. Like, so could you imagine talking to like, let's imagine that happens, right? Could you imagine explaining the game to somebody and being like, there's the like, don't play 550 through 100 because it's a fucking meta mess. Everything is imbalanced and broken. You can only really, if you want to have like a decent experience, you should play 600 and up because the devs decided they want to get their heads out of their asses and actually balance their mobile suits at a higher cost.
Okay.
I think
I
it's a
mean,
good
that's
direction.
exactly the kind of talk that people do for every other competitive game, like War Thunder
Really,
with their
maybe that's not play
battle
enough.
yeah, with their battle rating system, the way that they do it, everyone's like, "Oh, yeah, I like to play in low BR because it's, like, just easier and more fun to, like, understand." Because, like, every new BR rating that they have, because they're newer vehicles from, like, more modern wartime settings, they
Mm,
have all these crazy things like night vision and all this other stuff feature-wise. But when you get into these murky in between battle ratings, depending on the average of I keep wanting to say suits, but, like, tanks or aircraft that you take into the battle, you
mm,
have these things where you're just technologically, out of your element if your primary, weapon goes down, and you have to just deal with the rest.
gotcha.
And, like, with which each, bump up that they do, the worse those extra technologies get, and that's the point of warfare, right? When you're making weapons like that, especially historical, you want it to be as unfair to the enemy as possible. Like, you're not here
Mhm.
to be fair and balanced.
Right,
But when you try to adhere that to a video game, it's a pain in the fucking ass, especially a video game where people pay for premium shit all the time. Like, imagine if this
right.
game
Yeah.
had a proper premium, actual, like, freemium model.
I mean, that's one thing I don't like about War Thunder
It
is
actually like,
is
I
it is
think that's
pretty
why
hard pay to
Ratchet
win.
is so popular because you don't gotta think about them as much. People are just gonna pour that money in for the IP. They don't give a fuck about the rest.
I feel you. I can see what you're saying in that regard. Like some of it kind of seems like it's already a thing just from hearing people talk about like, oh, I like low cost because things aren't as fast. But I mean,
Yeah, so it's, like,
I get what you're
literally
saying.
that's the
Like,
one
I
way
feel you.
that this game is similar to other, like, competitive games because that talk is
Mm.
exactly the same.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, I guess more of what I was saying is just that if that's the direction they want to take with the game, I think they should like I don't know, maybe it's like too late and they're just gonna cut their losses or something.
Yeah,
Um,
it totally is. You're not
Yeah,
wrong
pretty
about
much.
that. We're a couple years in, we're at the transition of a new console era. We may or may not have another year or 2 tops of this game before they
mm,
either talk GBO3 or it just disappears out of existence. Because Lord knows
right.
what's gonna happen once Versus
Mhm.
drops, and if that actually takes off, they might just focus on that and say, "Fuck this game." Like, it depends on what the numbers are, and we don't know any of that, which sucks. I wish we knew
Oh
some
man.
better metrics about how this game is doing.
No, that's what's up. That's a hot take. I mean, the idea of idea of like re-vanilling some of the suits at higher cost, like, is
It's
pretty
almost like how
interesting.
MMOs do, like,
Yeah.
level crunches and stuff too.
Hmm.
We were talking about that, like cost crunching. Even if they
Mhm.
didn't change the categories or get rid of some, cost crunching some of this stuff so that it's dealing with a different range of suits than it normally would and
Right.
trying to balance it that way would be another option.
Right.
Hmm.
No, that's interesting. I still don't like it, but I get it. Like that's an interesting thing to consider. Like I don't know. It's hard to say that's the direction I actually want to go.
Yeah, like, at the end of the day, it's a competitive video game. They have to keep fucking
Mm,
with it because the bigger that it gets, the harder it's gonna be to wrangle in. And
for
right now,
sure.
we're just in that transition period. And until they get a bigger sweeping idea of what they want to do and actually commit to it, we're just gonna have to deal. Like some of those small overhauls like they did for raids and stuff were a good start, but it's nowhere near the kind of shit that they do in other games.
But I wonder if that I wonder if that idea even gets thrown out the window. I mean, the DJ's a 550-600, so they've already soiled it. They've already soiled it.
Yeah. I don't know that. Yeah, there's a couple of, I don't know. I feel like there's already some 600s that are just
Well, yeah,
already
I mean,
really good.
honestly, like I would say overall, the realistic, I think the chance of like that scenario actually happening, where it's like kind of them just like refreshing the slate almost at 600 and up, it has already been thrown out the window just because of the suits they've made 600 cost versions of. I don't think
because that's them
DB was thinking that
scrambling to
far
fill
ahead.
out the category costs, right?
Yeah.
Like we're always gonna get grandpa. The baseline suits that have been bumped up all the time will still continue to get bumped up. And yet I think ultimately when we look back at that overhaul for raids in particular, I remember when everyone was getting salty, like, oh, just the sweaty players are gonna get better at these suits and it's not gonna change for the rest of the people. And we were like, oh no, hopefully it won't, or it won't. It totally did. Because no one plays that shit anymore. They got curious, right? And they went back, looked at it. Maybe they did a little better, maybe they didn't. But in the meantime, we were getting all these other suits that were leagues better without even having to try harder. And it just didn't
For
matter.
sure, yeah. Meta at its finest, right?
Yep.
Yeah,
The
pretty
meta
much.
working to the detriment of the rest of the game. So we were back at square one after that.
All I'm hearing is Mark II's best raid in the game.
Yeah, I mean, and that hasn't changed. Like we've said it so much that it's just a reality, right? Like we don't have to. It's just kind of like understood. That doesn't mean it's okay. That doesn't mean
No.
that's a good thing. It doesn't deserve it, especially now that the Mark III's out and being lackluster. Like lore or not, it should at least have a leg up in it some way, and it doesn't.
Yeah, I agree.
Especially when it starts up at a higher cost.
Yeah, that too. That is a big oof. But
Oh shoot.
Well, and I was gonna bring up, talking about meta and melee priority, but yeah.
Sorry, I'm comparing the stats now. The
Yeah, the melee priority.
The Mark III and the Mark II had the exact same HP at level 1 and 2. The Mark
Wait, really?
the
no.
Mark II
No.
has better live ammo correction, less beam resistance by
It has better
2.
live mod. Oh my god.
By 2 at level, or sorry, by 4 at level 1. Yeah, and 5 at level 2. It's worse than that. It has better melee resist. 2 better at level 1, 1 better at level 2. Let's see. Okay, so the shooting damage is notably different. 25 and 27 for level 1 and 2 respectively for the Mark II, and it's 35 and 40. So you pretty much have 10 higher on one, and then 13 higher for the other. So the Mark III beats it out there. You have 10 and 13. It's about the same. It's actually the same. It's almost like a trade-off. Like the Mark II beats it out in melee correction by 13 points.
Yeah.
Granted, let's see. So it's 50, 55. So if you want to look at overall like offensive stat wise, the Mark II has a better sum than the Mark III, though. The Mark actually might be the same. Oh no, my bad. It's actually the same. So like both suits have the same sum of their offensive scores. The Mark if you combine a shooting and a fighting correction, the Mark III has 55, and so does the Mark II. It's 60, and it's the same for level 1 and 2. So they both have a sum of 55 at level 1 and 60 at level 2 for the melee adjustment, which is
That's
interesting.
actually
Um,
kind of crazy though that it has the same stats for the level 2 Mark II as the level 1 of the Mark III. Or is it, are you saying the level 2, I mean, sorry, the level 2 of them, yeah. Yeah, I said that wrong. But you get what I'm saying. Like, it's crazy that you're 50 cost higher and have the same stats.
right, right.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
That
Like they
is
both have the
dumb.
same spread. Um, and it,
Like,
and the Mark III is
Like,
default higher
even if it
level.
was marginal, it should still be higher, right? Like,
yeah,
even if it's a little bit, and it's kind of ridiculous that it's not.
give me at least
I
one.
mean, maybe the comparison should be level 2 Mark II, but I mean, if you look at it like that, the Mark II at level 2 has 60 stats. So like if we're looking at it like that, it's 27 shooting to 40, so you're down by 13. And then it's oh no, I was like the wrong one. To 35, so you're off by 8. And the fighting correction is 33, so you're up by 13. But the sum is higher at level 2. It's like the Mark II just has like overall more stats and offensively speaking than the
Mhm.
Mark III does at level 2 compared to its level 1, which are both the same cost. The Mark III is faster than the Mark II by 5. It's 135 compared to 130. They both have the same boost speed. Um, the Mark III has 5 thrust more than the Mark II. The Mark II is 65. The Mark III turns faster. It does have a faster turn radius.
Oh, and doesn't it have
It's
faster movement as well?
Like on foot, you mean?
Yeah.
yeah, that's what I said. The
Okay,
speed
yeah,
is
cool, cool.
35.
Yeah, you get 5
Yeah,
more, right? Yeah.
yeah.
So
The
that's
base turn speed before shield modifier is 72, whereas the Mark II is 66. Mark II respawns faster. It respawns 2 seconds faster than the Mark III.
hmm. Interesting on the movement though, the speed and turning. So its base moving around is better. Kind of cool, but
Kind of rough, all the same.
yeah.
Sorry, I'm still looking at some of the other stuff too. Parts are short for the Mark III. Short is 6, or like close range is 6, medium is 19, long is 15. Where for the Mark II, it's 15, 15, 6. That's 36 at level 1, and this one has 25, 40. So a level 1, it has 4 more slots, but the Mark II has, so it was 36, 40. So like comparing level 2 Mark II to level 1, the Mark II has 40 total part slots compared to the Mark III, which has oh wait, no, they both had the same, so they're both 40 in that regard. Which I guess that's probably okay. They're both the same cost. Although maybe the Mark II should have more. I don't know. Um,
Hmm.
this is interesting. They have a consecutive hit correction stat on here.
Again, I'm just gonna blame this on
Hmm.
like the space thing.
The melee modifiers are oh no, that's yeah. The melee modifiers for the swings are the same for the 2 suits though. They're both
Okay.
175 and 130.
Hmm.
I think it might have backwards movement that's slightly better than the Mark II, possibly.
Yeah, it seems like the base movement is just
Well, no, I
overall.
mean like the directional movement. Like I think it might have slightly better reverse movement than the Mark
Well,
II
yeah,
as
yeah.
well.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it just seems like the mobility of it, period, is just better in
I
every
gotcha.
way.
Okay.
So I wouldn't doubt it. But that is interesting
I
though
digress though.
with the stat comparison. But yeah, Mark III, Bizarro World balanced general suit thing.
It sure is an attempt at something.
So again, I guess any other final thoughts, and then I guess we could go through the notes and look at what else they added.
I'm ready to move on to 600 cost vanilla lands. Let's leave the dark history of 550 and below behind us and
Yeah.
move on ahead.
The insane diversity that was the rest of the game.
Oh my gosh.
Yep. Can't wait for turn A to come out.
Oh my god. Just wipe
Clean the
out the
slate,
entire
Lauren.
game. That would be the finale simulation mission.
There you go.
And no matter what, you don't stop it from resetting the world.
You still lose at the end.
Rip.
Damn, that's a little bit too meta. It's like those RPGs where you like beat the hell out of somebody and the fight's over and you're like, oh, this was so tough. Or you like still
And then
Oh,
it's
yeah.
still
that guy still ends up
yeah.
healing you.
Oh,
It's like, bro, we watching the same fight.
they got me with the I wanted the fight, lost in the cutscene trick. Damn it.
Yeah, pretty much.
Guns are too meta in the cutscenes, damn it.
But so yeah, with the
The
rest of
plot.
the patch, we got again the Stamen and the 04 600 cost. And then we also got added to the lottery level 3 and 4 Gelgoog Marine. So up to a 500 cost or 550 Gelgoog Marine.
It's really weird that the 4 is considered a 2-star. I still think that's an
No, it's a
error, but
1
I don't know
star.
if they corrected it. No, it's in 2.
No, the level 4 is a 1 star. Level 3 is a 2 star. So it's, and I actually looked at the lottery too. If you actually go to the individual lottery, like looking up to see
Yeah.
what you could roll, it also shows in the actual proper spot on the lottery. I was like, well,
That makes
that's
sense.
weird. But
Yeah, I don't know how the hell they managed that. That's fucking weird.
so yeah, insta upgrade that if you get that.
GM works that way.
Oh, it does?
Mhm.
That,
The higher level is a demotion in the stars, and it makes sense.
oh,
I
well,
mean,
yeah.
the way they do that, like maybe if they did that with more suits, it'd make more sense too. Because they sure as hell don't balance things to level up. So maybe lowering the rarity would make people feel less salty when they don't scale levels or they don't scale skills according to level to make the suits relevant.
They at least get it.
So
Yeah.
what you're saying is it's not that the suit was balanced, it's that they messed up and brought out a 1 star 600 cost suit this patch. Okay. Okay.
Maybe I need an extra X.
Got it. We've figured it out. We've cracked the code. So yeah, the Marine was kind of interesting to see that added in. So that's pretty cool. With the banner again, with the Stamen and the GBO2, just to kind of answer this again, I would say if you are needing a 600 cost general, your options are to try for the Mark III or the Stamen, even with the chance of also getting the 04 probably being equal on that banner from a Gal carrier. I would probably go for the Stamen banner, personally. If I had to
You might still
recommend to
get a Mark
somebody.
III.
Wait, say that again?
You might still get a Mark III.
You
Who
might
knows?
still, yeah, there you go.
You can roll for the Mark III on the other banner too. It's not locked out.
That is true. But
Or
yeah,
you might even get a better younger brother.
Yeah, if you're real lucky, they'll take one of the eyes off.
So let's see. Then we have in the ticket shop the
Older brother, I
G-Line
should say.
Assault Level 1 and 2. Like, is that a typo? Did we not have the level 1 in the ticket shop yet?
I actually
I
don't
can't
know.
remember.
Because
Still
I
up to
this
assault, right?
this one of those situations where like I already had it by the time it even hit the shop, so it's like
So you weren't paying
if it
attention.
didn't,
Yeah.
yeah. So I just wasn't paying attention.
Yeah, I'm
It
actually
wasn't
gonna
coming up
go.
for the shit.
I'm gonna go look real quick at the ticket shop and see if it's there. Like, I felt like it was already. Because oh nope, they're both in there. I guess it was just the level 1 and
Yeah,
2 is now added. Okay.
Maniac's confirming G-Line Assault has not been through the tickets yet.
Yeah, that's kind of cool. And then the Gelgoog Marine Commander type. So, they need to buff the gun on the Gelgoog Marine Commander type. Would not recommend right now. That is pretty
Does
much
it
my
use a
take on the
Goku beam
tickets.
rifle?
No, it uses
It's the
essentially.
beam machine gun or whatever.
Yeah, it's essentially kind of like firing the Tetris gun, only it doesn't have the same buffs that the Tetris gun
Oh,
has.
oh, sorry. I was thinking of the
Yeah, it's got the
raid.
same firing rate, but not the output.
Yeah,
Sorry,
this
there are too many
is
fucking Go-Googs. I was thinking it was the raid one, but it's the
Marine
general one, right?
Commander. Yeah, the general one.
Okay,
That
I gotcha.
yeah,
Yeah, I think it's kind of underwhelming too.
yeah. That it needs to receive the same buff that the Jaeger and the Tetra has. Just saying. And as soon as they buff the Tetra, I'm like, now can we get it on the Marine? And every time I see the Marine somehow pop up, either in the ticket shop, getting a new level, getting a new buff, or just getting mentioned somewhere, I'm like, can we get that buff to the gun, please?
I will say though, like it feels kind of like the Xeon version of the Alex, though, in some cases.
I
It is
mean,
kind of that way. It's
only
supposed to
its
be that
damage
essentially.
though doesn't like you don't have the same damage potential. But yeah,
I
that
feel
would
like
be
the pea
cool.
shooting is still like I think it's pretty comparable. Like it's almost like you're like maybe you can't shoot as much, even though it's the 3 round burst, but it's almost
No,
like
no,
you're
I think
trading
I
off
think it's a 5 round burst
or
still.
five. It's a five. It's a
But
five. My bad. But you can punch through maneuver armor with it. But
after
and
like
like you
no,
don't
no,
have as
it's
much
like
ammo
the
for
old
arm
one. Like
gathering.
it's not even the
Mm.
6. It's not even the 6 hits. I don't think that the Tetra got. I think it's still
You
like
gotta
the
hit it
old
with
like
more
8 to
burst.
10. Like you have to hit with the entire burst like twice
Yeah,
before you get
they
a
haven't
stagger.
touched that gun for the Marine version at all.
Yeah, like
Once,
No,
damn,
I mean
so
I feel you there. Like, I'm more just saying like because of the burst potential on it, it has the ability to. I'm
I
not saying
still
like,
think
oh,
it's
it's only one burst.
you know what? I am gonna see though. I am gonna do a damage comparison now. I think, and uh, I might get back to you on that next week. We might talk about
I
this
mean, I
again.
haven't done any numbers. All I'm saying
But
is it's if like just
yeah,
playing it, it feels similar to the Alex, so you can let me know.
because I don't know. At least the Alex, when I get to the end, I'm like, oh yeah, dude, I did 120K. Didn't feel like it, but I'll take it. In this, I'm like, oh yeah, I got 30K. Cool. Feels bad, man.
we I don't know. You might have just been getting crushed that match.
I'm yes, a complete exaggeration on how bad I was, and
Right.
probably got crushed. But yeah, yeah. That's just how it like. I mean, the number I probably misread it. That might have been an 8 instead of a 3, but it's no like 100 and something thousand when I get to the end.
Hmm.
So that's my difference between the Alex and that is the Alex I get surprised by the ending, and then the Marine I'm like, yep, feels about correct. Feels pretty average. It also came from Bizarro Balance General World. What happened
yeah,
with that
Hmm.
suit?
that's why they never touched it. They just weren't sure where it came from. Like, what the hell happened with this?
What is
You know,
this?
And
it's okay. There's a bunch of other stuff around it. It's fine.
and then if you want a really awesome top tier raid, G Line Assault is in there. You got some counter sniper potential. It's cannon. You can do crazy clap damage with that shotgun. The one downside is it's not a normal shotgun, and you got to hit 2 solid hits. But yeah, both levels are in there, and yeah, it's definitely top tier. I can recommend, and it's got that shield damage tackle thing. Uh, so you can
Yeah, don't
also
underestimate that if you're down to the wire.
Yeah, you can add an extra like 1,000. It's somewhere between 1,000 and 2,000 damage to support just from tackling them. I think it's just over 1,000, so closer to the 1,000 mark, but it's somewhere in between there, maybe closer to 1,500, something like that. But it claps, and you got 3 swings and a downswing that yeets you to safety sometimes. Like, I don't know if how much you've played an Emblem, but I love being like, I'm running. There's an army of generals behind me. Switch to melee because I've boosted. Yeet! And then hopefully get behind that wall just with that little last burst of yeet. But
It's a nice dynamic suit with interesting options. I wouldn't say it's OP. It's pretty solid. I think the biggest things that kind of hold it back is that it's follow-up game. Like you can't do traditional follow-ups with it
that's true.
um when somebody's on the ground. It I will say I think the addition of the what is it called, the combat system or whatever, where
Yeah,
you get resistance in melee, like that was a pretty good call.
that's
um
huge, really. Big
yeah,
fan.
like I think it's really good though, like but
I mean, would
having
you
good
say
options
top
always
tier
makes it
though,
nice.
or like that's why I like it is because of the versatility. That's
Hmm.
why I say it's definitely top
Right.
tier. Like you pretty much have something for every occasion. Just going in blind. I feel like you can take it in just about any map against any comp on the enemy team and feel good. Like
Yeah, and I can see
could be the
that.
question: what do you think's
Yeah, I'm
better,
trying to
and
think.
by what margin? Like, do you think
I don't
there's anything
know.
that super stands out above it?
I'm trying to think of cost. I'm trying to think of raids at that cost.
I mean, the one that definitely comes to mind is comparing it to, I guess it's another G line is the G line light, but the BD2 is definitely kind of like the go-to, especially at 400 and 450. BD2 is still kind of, I feel, is maybe still king at 400
Yeah,
and 450 even.
it's tough. It's so hard to say. Like I think it's really good. There's- hmm, I don't know. I I'd probably have to get back to you on that. I don't think it's hard for me to say. Maybe I just haven't been playing it as much recently, and then it
Oh,
comes out like whatever raids would I
light
play at that
type,
cost?
light type
Yeah,
is kind of my top pick right now for that cost. But I mean, pretty much here's if stuff that I would say has could compare in its own right now. BD2, Dodge, Knock, G Line Light, Go Flight, Yen exists there. Kind of
yeah.
interesting. Pixie.
Maybe maybe it's just terminology. Like I think of top tier as OP, I guess maybe.
Oh, okay.
And like I don't think this I don't do I think this suits OP? No. I think it's solid. Um it's hard to say though. Like it's so hard to like for me, it's hard to fit raids into the OP category unless they're just like super pushed just because generals are so suppressive. um and I'm trying to like think of it without that mindset, just comparing them to each other.
Yeah.
Um but sometimes raids really feel a lot of raids feel really similar, and like I think raids do a decently good job at like catering to different play styles. Um like depending on how like aggressive you want to be. Like just using that cost range as an example. If you want to be like really up in your face aggressive, you can play like the Mark or the BD2 or even the Zagaki. Um if you want to play like kind of mid to long range and have decent like close options, you can play the assault where you have the cannon to fall back on. Kind of the same with like maybe the Gogu Marine standard or something like that. Um, the light armor in some degrees kind of falls in that. Although I think it feels more akin to a mid to close range suit. Um, I don't know. It's interesting. Like maybe it's just because so like for the most part, unless you're the Yak guy, like a lot of the different raids have like their uses and utilities that's giving me trouble like classifying it. Um, so it's like hard to say. Um, is it more like it's more versatile than the Pixie, but is it necessarily better overall than it is? Like maybe it depends on who you ask. But sorry, I feel like I'm not answering. I guess I don't know. I don't know.
Okay, fair enough.
Like I just don't know. Like I'm not disagreeing with you. It's just in the case
Yeah.
of with what I think. Like I don't know. Like
Well, that's like if somebody
I
told me to
wonder if
pick a
that's a good thing.
best 250
Mhm.
support. Like,
It also comes back to the whole like having to do disclaimers before talking about suits like that thing.
or even
Look, bro,
yeah.
I don't care about it that much, right? Like, I'm pretty sure I've run people out of my chat because I shit all over a mobile suit plenty of times. But that suit sucks. I'm like, well, fuck you, Emblem. I'm never coming back here again.
Yeah, I fucking
I mean, I
I
mean,
forget what
Zommel
whose chat it
sucks,
was,
and
but
Thunderbolt
I
sucks.
laid into the Gauntlet real hard yesterday.
Like, oh my gosh! Like the funny thing is, again, back to the not because I know Gustav, you weren't yeah, your internet was being crazy when we were talking about it.
Yeah.
But that whole post on the Thunderbolt and the Zommel that I did, and then I even threw it up on Reddit, man. Like, it was just funny how many people were just like, they're fine, they're good suits, and I'm like, you want to give me some explanation? I mean, cool. Now why? They're good suits, and then I'm like, okay, I'm done. But like, then people would try to explain, and I'm like, oh, cool, good conversation, thank you, right? But like,
Yeah.
the just the I I don't know if it's your favorite suit. If the GBO2 sucked,
Mhm.
I would be like, I don't know. I'd be some crazy person on here. Like every podcast, like
It'd just
there'd
be
be
like, "This
there'd
suit's
be like
fucking trash!"
every section. Like I've still got it Mark 3 instead of notes, but every time I change that text to like something else, which I need to do, but every time I would change that text, you would hear me go, by the way, guys, the O2 needs buff. It needs, we gotta, I'd be preaching every chance I got to get the O2 something. Luckily,
Yeah.
they're both fantastic and they fit my playstyle perfectly, so we in there. But if they didn't, so I mean, the people who are like, Thunderbolt, I'm Thunderbolt fanboy, and the suit's fine. I'm like, that doesn't make any sense to me, my dude.
No, you
Like,
should be advocating for it to be better
for
because
it to
it
be even
fucking
better, yeah, it's like,
For sure.
I can kind of get the guy who's like, well, it would be OP then, and I'm like, well, again, why? But at least you're kind of like trying to say,
I mean,
well,
as opposed to
you're
any other high
pushing,
cost, like, space only suit anyway. It has to bump up against the FB for fuck's sake.
or even like the people saying the Zama would be OP with any kind of buff, and I'm just
Mhm.
like, okay,
Zama's still a massive target. There's no
Mm,
way that would actually be a
yeah.
thing anyway. If
yeah,
it had more to work with, people would just prioritize it even harder. Right now, people prioritize it for free points and because it's easy to bully when nothing else is around. But if it actually was a threat, it would just die first. Without
Right.
question, every time it's so much as like peeked around a corner.
pretty much, and that's why
It just comes down to Mhm.
Well, I mean, and
Go
and
ahead.
that's why I mean, again, kind of talk about the buff Gustav. I don't know, I can't remember uh, if if I talked to you too much about it, but people said, give it more cannon turning and stuff, and then there was actually a lot of people commenting on when its cannon flips over that they just shoot up into space. I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, I know that feel. But yeah, like again, the physics of the cannon might not work. But the other thing is though, is like I just want it to have its own like super fast tank mode, because here's just my argument to people being like, well, then it would just be too crazy and you couldn't hit it. I'm like, okay, wait, hold up. The reason why a Scooty Armor GM, in my opinion, is the most broken 250 general is because not only does it have pretty much all the stats, it has its health is treated like it's a Dom, first of all. So it has like the stats of a Dom, but it's got the frame and hitbox of a GM, and then it has, the explosive reactive. And then, so like if you're gonna look at something like that with it, how fast it moves, it's this small and it moves fast. The thing is, if you're aiming like right here and you have something that's this small, they move to here, you miss. If you have something this big and in the same time frame it moves to here, you were still aiming right here, you still hit the target. Because speed in relation to its size, so the speed proportional to the size of the Zommel is slow, whereas other suits that has the same speed is a lot faster proportional to size. And like that was one of my big points on that. And like everyone's like, well, it's really fast, it's got 135 movement, and I'm like, yes, but it's
But all
also
of its
like
weapons
this.
require it to stand still.
Oh yeah, and then it has to stand still to fire its shit. So then it's like, yeah,
Like, it can fire its missiles on the move and while boosting, but that's not what you lean on primarily for output. That's when you're running away and hope that you can get a stagger off, or when you're trying to finish something off when the cannon's still, like,
yeah.
covering from a
Well,
shot.
and then like it has enough ammo that it almost never has a chance that you're actually out of ammo. Like normally you're dead by then, because it is such a big target. Because you've announced to somebody, hey, you're on a knee. And then it's like, oh, bully? Did somebody ask me for a request to bully them? Even though I'm a
Yeah,
general.
going back to the Thunderbolt real quick, Maniac chimed in with something, the FATP sadly needs a bigger buff to the missiles, and it needs better maneuver armor with better force injectors. Make the shields need more HP, have a better melee mod or melee defense at the very least. It has to have more HP because it's quite poor for a 500 to 550 raid.
Yeah, the HP, which they did do a massive, what was it, like 3K or something like that, HP buff already. So, and
Yeah, there has to be a trade-off,
still,
right? Like, either it needs to be able to resist things a little bit better to make that extra HP worth anything, or they just have to double down on the HP.
well, and the other problem is like, they're like, well, it has the extra HP of the shield. Again, I'm able
But the
to
HP of the
aim.
shield works against it because of the turning speed. We've talked about
Yeah,
that before
and
too.
then so there's the turning speed, and that
Like,
was my
you
big
wanna get
problem.
hurt so that you can fucking get that shit off of you, so you can actually, like, move and react to things like a Thunderbolt suit should be able to.
So here's my question, and by the way, this is since Maniac's in chat. How does shields? That was bad. But how do shields work? How do shields work? How does King Crimson work? For real though,
How
like turning speed. If you look at the turning speed of say the GBO2 MLRS, it has like 48 turning speed, right? So the turning speed for that, I think it's 48. I could be wrong, but that's what I'm going with. Okay, it's 51. When you lose that shield, it's like you have super exam turning speed as a support.
it works by size, he's saying.
Well, yeah, so I get there's the size thing, but my point
Discussed this 2
is the
episodes ago,
number.
though. Like, I thought we had a pretty good grasp on it.
Well,
Like when we first talked about it.
well, I mean,
I
okay.
have to look back and see what we said, but I thought we'd already like had a good determination from like when we were talking about before.
I mean, okay.
Keep going.
Well,
Let me
the
look at
new
it. Let me
thing.
pull it up with it again.
the new thing though, I mean, you link that one thing and yeah, but my point is this is actually about the new stats that we're seeing is more of what
Gotcha.
this is. The turning speed on the actual stat sheet, there's no way that that turn speed is 51 and then without the shield you have 51 turn speed, right? So I know you're
Right.
gaining a buff when you lose it. So it's like it's weird. Like, so is the by the full armor Thunderbolt having multiple shields, I know it's gaining a debuff essentially. So what does that number mean is kind of my point here at this point. Because it's kind of weird that this says 51 and then you have a shield, but then when it breaks you get a huge buff because it's a giant super shield. And then you have like 100 turn speed or whatever. Whereas the full armor Thunderbolt says you have like 72 on the stat sheet. So I'm kind of like,
I
where's
kind of wonder if
the
that's a discrepancy between the displays. Like, do you think it might just be an issue with the way that the stats are displayed, or
yeah? Like that's what
maybe
I'm
it's
wondering. What
different
is what
in
does that stat
space?
actually mean? So do they like actually show do they show what stat? What does that stat mean? Does the 51 on my GPO2 right now count the shield, or is that just a
Baseline.
number and then the shield does something else, right?
I'll
Like,
give you that to look at, Magnum. That's the Mark III's turning stats, and they have one for space and one for ground. And I don't know if that's because of space specialization,
yeah, space
but
specialization.
they may have different stats um, for ground and space usage. Like, let me look at the Mark. Let me go to GPO2.
And see, that's the weird thing though when they say with shield. So with the shield you get a debuff, but without the shield you gain actually a buff stat, right? Just like an exam, you get all the up arrows. So what's weird though is you get a debuff that you don't see, and then you get a buff that you don't really see. So the weird part is what is that number? And I think that's just a base number, and then you get a debuff plus buff that we don't know about. It's just the numbers like just feel really weird. Yeah, so that's the same. So my question is what is when you lose a shield, how does that buff get kind of calculated? That's the weird
So
part.
we don't know this for sure. He's saying it's not 100% sure on it, but like once it says his shield is gone, the speed goes up and should go up by 10, 20, 30, 40 in size order. So it's
Interesting.
like it's by a certain value each time depending on the size.
Okay, so that kind of makes sense. I mean I mean that's what would make sense. It's just
Yeah, and I mean that's kind of what we figure. We just want to know the specifics.
my biggest problem is they're trying to be transparent with like, hey, earning speed, but the thing is that stat on your
It's still
mobile
not
suit
enough. They need
pretty
more
much means
extra
nothing.
details.
Like literally seeing turning speed there, and we're putting a turning speed mod part on, literally means dick all. Like that's my problem with it. So that's kind of where I was wanting to go with that after I started thinking about it. I'm like, oh yeah, we could talk about that. But
Oh, I found one. Okay.
back to kind of the Thunderbolt thing though, Gustav, like the turning speed, um people were like, well, just fly backward and forward. Like, just get behind
Why?
it. You just get behind it. Well, I mean, so that you can like not get like turn kited. And I'm like, just boost right next to it essentially, and or not go in the way that it can actually do that, and then let
It's
it run
weird.
its
It's
boost out.
weird to say that because like one of the primary maps for space right now is Space Interior or whatever,
Yeah,
and
and
that's
that's the
really hard
biggest
to do
problem.
that. That's getting backed into the wall of the map.
But again,
So
one
you
thing we
can't
did talk about last week. Well, one thing we did mention last week is it is okay for a suit to be bad on one map, right? I do think that's an okay thing, but it pretty much is bad on like 1.5 maps, because then you have resource satellite, which is half in a little asteroid cluster and then half out and open, depending on if you're next to one of the bases or not. But if the fighting's going around A in that one, oof, good luck. But yeah.
Yeah, it's not super great.
But anyway, yeah, sorry for the random extra tangent there. But I mean, as far as the patch notes go, actually, I think we're there at the end, because they added those. And again, oh, I don't think we actually mentioned this early on, but real important. I'll actually change the things here. Clan ranked. That way, anybody looking for a change in stuff see this. But clan ranked will not be going on Monday. They canceled it because apparently, now from the English translated one, it's saying mid game leaves, but if somebody left mid game, the entire game would get a leave penalty. Both teams.
Oof.
Yeah, so like if an enemy left, not only did their entire team get a leave penalty, but your entire team could get a leave penalty.
I don't know if it's that bad. We never had that happen.
Yeah, so it was possible for the entire game to get a leave penalty for somebody leaving. So that's kind of interesting. So they're trying to fix that before they have clan ranked again. And then, so for now, the 6th of June should be when it happens. But
6th of June.
what spawned that tangent? Oh yeah, you guys were like, we need to put a disclaimer on stuff, and I'm just like,
So we're back on a Saturday. Okay.
yeah,
It all just comes down to people want the suit that they like to be really good, and sometimes it's not always the case, you know.
pretty much.
It's hard to
Like,
tell people that it's okay that they like bad things.
Well, and I mean
Yeah, you know.
that's the thing. Like that's my point though. Like if it's not the meta and you're doing good with it, like what's the word? Man, I wish I could brain right now. Tired brain, OP. Revel in it. There we go. Like
Yeah,
like
you
just
did good with the bad thing.
own
Like
it.
you're
Like
actually good at this.
yeah, like for real. Like when people would be like, dude, the Dawn Barrage is complete garbage. Like even before it got its buff, like I was in there clapping with those missiles, and like I would put up a video, and like I'd have 5 comments be like, "This suit sucks." And it's like, cool. Then I'm a god.
Yeah, have fun.
Oof, emblem. Ouch.
So apparently, the bigger thing about the penalty, on top of the issue with the penalty being for both people, it was also that they were having disconnect issues like before and during it.
Ooh.
So people are getting punished doubly hard because on top of that just not being right, you had a bunch of people getting yeeted. And we did notice that even after the clan matches happened, that it was doing the whole thing where technically people were being like yeeted out at the end of the game. I think that might have been a side effect of that.
Oh. Yeah, that's kind of awkward. But so yeah, clan ranked not till the 6th, and it's gonna be another 6v6, and it's in the morning, and I think it's basic, right? That one. They have included it now at the bottom of the notes
Oh,
again.
you're talking about the next upcoming one?
Yeah, basic 600 city ruins, 6v6. So it is going to be a Saturday on the 6th of June. And it's a morning one.
Okay.
5 a.m. Pacific. But yeah, again, kind of to retouch on it, the last point that we were talking about before tangent happened. Yeah, if you're good with something that's not meta, then hype. That's all I'm saying. Like, find your
There's
suit,
nothing wrong with it.
and if you can find a way to break the meta, then get in there. That's normally what I do. I'm a one trick. Like, that's pretty much how I've done in most every game, even the ones that I've been on teams for, is I one tricked my way to getting recognized, and then people are like, hey, so. And then you have to learn other things, and then it gets hard. Then that's the real challenge. But nothing wrong with being one trick. That's at least what I keep telling myself. It makes me sleep good. But anyway, yeah. So, you guys want to do some suit speculation and do some shoutouts?
Sounds good to me.
God, the more they open it up, the more I'm like, I don't even fucking know anymore.
That's why.
Because even if we get
what
what
I'm
I
saying. Do you
expect,
guys
like,
want to do that? Because
for example, like Asian Noob Sama in chat totally called the Mark III. But like, I don't know if either of us expected it to be the way that it turned out to be.
like I as far as like people ask, what do you think it's going to be? Like, I no longer have a what do you think it's going to be. The only thing I could guess right now is raid, because have we had a raid in
I haven't
like
had one since the Gaplant.
yeah. So when was
Is
the
what people
Kaplan?
say.
Like,
Gaplant was like several, almost a month plus ago.
I was gonna say, is that 5 or 6 suits now? I'm gonna go 5 back and see what happens.
And I think what the last support was the 7th. I don't remember.
Yeah,
We
the
just had a
7th.
generals besides.
Okay, so 5 back was the Barzam.
Five bag was a bar. Damn. All right, so it's been a minute.
Because because 21st, 14th, 7th, 30th, and then 23rd. Yeah, that's 5, counting this week. And then we go back to the 21st. Wait, oh, one of those was off maybe. Wait, no, that is. Oh, sorry, it ended up refreshing the page. I'm being dumb.
It's crazy that it's been that long since the Barzam even.
Okay, so here we go. What is this one? Yeah, I mean, for real though, Barzam is 5 before that. Dija is. It was before the Dija, wasn't it? Dija is 6.
Yeah, it was before the DJ because the DJ was like the
Yeah, Gaplant was
anti-transformation
the
suit.
Gaplant was the second banner unit after Zeta Gundam.
Yeah, so it was Zeta, then Gaplant, then Dija, right?
Yeah, so that was back during the festival.
I'm pretty sure the Gun Cannon Detector came out before the DJ, right? Or was it the last suit?
I think it's the last suit.
I thought the DJ was, but I can't
It's
remember
between
the
those
order.
two though, at the
Hang
very
on.
least.
Yeah, I'm about to
Yeah, off the
find
top
it.
of my head, I'm thinking Zeta, Gaplant, Detector, and then DJ. This is what I think the order was.
Oh wow, it was the 2nd of April was when the Gaplant came out.
Wow, it's been a hot ass minute.
So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This has been 7 banners without a raid. You know what? I don't feel so bad that we haven't got a transforming support yet. Feels bad, Emblem.
Because at least you fucking got one. At least you got some kind of support.
So we got the 7th. Have we gotten any other? And the detector. We finally
And
got a
Detector and
bully
Seven.
to rival the overpoweredness of the Striker Custom. We'll say GM Striker Custom.
Now, to be fair, and it's kind of flipped up, has a lot of stun, does not break through that armor very easily. Because all
That
those
is
are
true.
single stuns.
Yeah, you have to hit it, I think, with 2 or 3 to actually break the. Well, actually, no. Isn't there one combo you can do with its build up that actually will stagger in 2 hits? I think there's one combo you can do. Maybe it's cannon to
It's also
grenade.
it's fucked up that its little cannon doesn't have consecutive stun on it at all.
At all, which is kind of funny. Like,
that's so trash. Like, that's the one thing about that suit that kind of bugs me.
yeah, like its damage is almost nothing, and its consecutive stagger is nothing.
That could have been its option to do like anti-maneuver armor a little bit easier.
Yeah, I mean it's got range on it too, so
like the bigger hope that you have, right, is that your output's enough to just fuck up their legs, so that when they like stop, they just stumble in front of you.
pretty
But again,
much.
because it's not running anything with splash damage besides like maybe the grenade, I guess, it has to rely on beams in a cost that's gradually getting more beam resistance, which is the other thing that works against it.
I mean, it still claps though. That damage on it is no joke. Like, you can, for instance, like the Barzam, you can just one combo it, literally. Like,
Detector makes me think of like a bloodborne enemy. Like, even if you think you're used to it, the minute you don't respect it, it's gonna fuck you up, even though it shouldn't. Like, you can't let your guard down around it, but normally it's not that scary.
I mean, as soon as I hit like a Barzam, I'm like dodge roll, and then as soon as they don't, I'll hit them with something else, dodge roll. And then once they finally dodge roll, if I hit them with that next hit, you dead. Like, that's kind of how the detector feels. So yeah, I'm just glad we finally got something that feels as broken as like the custom is like staggering somebody. We
So
actually got a
it looks like
stun
the
bot.
combo is cannon to grenade.
Cannon to grenade. Okay, yeah, that's what I thought it was, but I couldn't remember. But yeah, you pretty much have to do that just to get the.
You gotta time that grenade pretty well because that's a short range grenade.
Yep. Yeah, that's the other downside. So you can't stagger them from far away, but you can do that, and that is one reason why I've been meaning, and I always forget to swap the little link shoulder laser to the boot again, because you cannon grenade boot run. So, and it's good that does work at the short range, because at that point you have to walk. You have to be like, cannon grenade, I'm coming closer.
Yeah, because you have balancer.
Yeah,
Let
with
me
no
get
balancer, you gotta like reap your way over to it. But so yeah, we've gotten 2 supports to the 1 raid.
Hey.
We have a win. We have a win over raids. Yeah.
Please, raids have been
Victory.
losing ever since generals have been in the game.
Yeah, but so have supports. We've been in there. I mean, we got to compete against each other, right? When you can't compete against the generals, you got to compete against each other.
Maybe we should work against the generals. Maybe that's the better way to look at it.
Yeah, same other thing, right?
It's literally a class war within the game.
That mass produces
The
8
enemy of
enemies.
my enemy is my friend. What a concept. What a novel concept.
Never heard of.
Oh,
Entirely unheard of.
But yeah, so hopefully my only guess as to what's going to come out next week is a raid, and I really hope that they don't count the Night Seeker 2 as the raid. Like, that doesn't count. That's only to a maximum of 90 people right now.
Yeah, and again, it should be at starting at 200. Like, they brought the 200 lobbies back, and Literally, the
270.
only thing I'm looking at is light armor and Akai when I have to do raid because no one wants to do raid at that cost because raid sucks at that cost.
I'll do that guy.
Magnum, we're going to cut that
Oh,
number
cool.
down by 30 because we already know that OIG got top
It's
3
gonna do it again.
2
Oh,
weeks
yeah.
in a row.
Sorry.
So
So possible max of
Because if there's one thing
150.
that the competitive spirit negates, it's common courtesy.
Oh yeah.
Like they
No.
should fuck off after the first round. Like they got it at the hardest window. Obviously, they're the best boys. Now let someone else get that shit because this is literally for the sake of getting content. Like,
Oh, real
fuck
quick.
entirely up.
One of the funniest things though was Path of Exile when they were doing their races to see who was going to go live for their convention and actually compete there live. What they did is if you had won a ticket, you couldn't win the ticket again, but you could win the race. So the guy who won the entire thing also won all 4 of the races to get the chance to go. And then when he won the actual race, he won by a significant margin. Like it was no contest how bad this guy won. Like he was a beast. And the funny thing is everybody's like, "Oh, well he you know, of course by the time he won like the 4th one they're like, "Well, I can't wait to see him live because then he can't cheat or whatever." You know, of course there was stuff like that going around and it's like, "No, dude, he's just that good." And then he got to prove it, which was just awesome. Like, well done. But also point being, yeah, he couldn't win the ticket again and just negate the competition. Like they actually gave it to the
Right.
2nd place, and then you know if it was the top 2 again, it would go to 3rd, etc. So that would be cool if they did that. Just saying,
Yep, it seems that they do in other competitions. It's not uncommon.
because I mean that would be cool. You know, like the first or like by the 5th or by the 6th, you know, playing ranked, the top 100 get it. Well, if any of those are repeats, it goes to the next 100 plus. That would be kind of legit. Come on, guys, do it, please. But yeah. So that's my guess as to what it could be is a raid
Yeah,
because I
same.
mean either
I just want
raid
it to be raid or support. No more jealous for
transformable support. That's what I want. I want a
It's not gonna
transformable support.
If it does, it's gonna be like, what were we saying, or what was I joking that it was gonna be? Fuck.
I can see the you were saying the Methus just to troll Emblem.
No, I'm saying that because that's just what it's gonna be.
Oh my.
Oh man, that thing is not going to be a support. It's way too bland to be a support.
Like I'm
Oh my
I'm
gosh.
with you that it should be a raid just for shits, but reality calls, and it's just gonna be a support, not a raid.
Junko with the Methus. Everybody's calling Methus support. I don't know, Emblem. Feels bad, man.
I mean, just because everyone's wrong doesn't mean I need to change my designation. Right? Like, I'm immune to peer pressure, my dude.
Oh man,
I'll be wrong when I'm wrong.
support
Come
methods
at me,
confirmed. Support methods confirmed. It's support in MSGO.
That doesn't mean anything.
Has
Besides,
it
the
dictated
repair
much
gun,
in the other?
the repair gun doesn't exist in battle operations. So the
Oh, I
Methus
saw
would just
you.
be
I saw you playing a support too
power.
with the repair gun in there when I peeked in on that
Mhm.
SGO stream too.
Like I didn't know
Does-
it had that.
Would you want that in this game at any stretch?
I
Like for
think them
supports to
adding
be
more
able to do
dynamic
that?
stuff. Yeah, for sure. I think it'd be cool, different, interesting. Maybe that's part of their move to maybe the Methus will be a support at 550, 600. Excuse me. And
Like if it
part of
had
that
that option, would you be okay with it?
if they added new mechanics to the game, absolutely. It'd be fine. Because I mean, like that would almost be touching back on like kind of what we were talking earlier about the whole like almost 600 plus vanilla ish reboot where they're kind of like redefining the classes. Like if they wanted to, if that was the direction they wanted to take, and they gave the Methus of a heal gun, I think it'd be interesting.
It would be cool.
But without that existing and me not knowing about it, it should definitely be a raid.
Yeah, until it happens.
Until then,
Like maybe if the Methus Kai was in the game, okay, maybe I guess it could be a support. At least that's the big dumb fuck off cannon.
Considering that we're
Um,
considering that we're pulling from like Mark III and shit like that, it might happen.
I mean,
oh
that's
yeah, I'm
the other
looking at the
thing
stuff right
too.
now.
Like with the stuff that they added now, it's just like anybody's guess, dude, what they're actually going to do. Like that's kind of the cool part. But at the same time, as far as like people asking all the time, what do you think the next suit's going to be? Or I think it's going to be? I have no fucking idea. Let me roll a dice and throw some darts, and that's my pick. Like
Just bring up MSV Zeta and just like start throwing darts at the board.
for real though, like man. But what do I want to see right now? A raid sometime soon, and by that probably next week, and then the week after that, a transformable support. That's all I'm saying.
Mm.
I'll take the Gapsley. Just saying that one looks good for a support. I like it.
Gapsley seems like a good one.
I've been
to
talking
pull
myself
forward.
into it. And some people are saying, well,
Like,
that kind of looks like a general, but I'm like, but
I mean,
I'm feeling it.
anything could literally be a general. The fact that we've
real.
been talking about this pseudo shit and the fact that they've been leaning so heavily doing those 4 generals in particular means that anything that comes out now, and this is something that we talked about very early on in the podcast life, is that Zeta has such a diversity
Yeah.
with what suits can do that they can all be generals. You know, and it's very hard to say which ones are going to take the bullet for being raid or support.
I will say,
You know,
did
how many people are
The
gonna
way
be
you
mad
phrase
about
that, take bite the bullet. Like,
Yeah.
I guess you're gonna be faulty.
it? Yeah, I guess you're
Jet
just
fight
gonna suck and
classification.
be hyper focused in a way that's not good with the meta. Have fun, bud.
you know, I wasn't gonna comment on that, but Emblem did, and yeah, for real though. Oh man. But like the oh darn it, I lost my train. Oh yeah, the repair gun thing though too. Speaking of like stuff we mentioned early on in the podcast life, like did we actually mention that there was? Did anybody know that the repair gun would actually was a thing in MSGO, or because I know we talked about it before, but I don't know who originally mentioned it. But I know I've talked about it. That would be cool, and you know I know we've talked about it. Support literally meaning support as an assist kind of type support, and I think that's
Yeah.
like it would be cool if it did have it, and then that they have one in MSGO. I think is kind of cool. That'd be cool if it did, and we were just kind of talking about it from the get go for it to be a thing.
I guess
could
the other
deal.
thing would be whether or not you would have other support suits retroactively get it, or if that again, once we start getting into the murkier costs, if we just have pseudo supports that had that weapon. Like I could see some of the recon suits getting it just
Oh
so
yeah.
that they have an extra something.
In
Even though
MSGO, the
they're not
recon
in the
suits
superior.
have the repair weapons.
Oh, there you go. See,
There you go.
see, we're
I believe the flipper.
Flipper
is-
and the Zaku recon itself.
Yeah, I believe both of those are support suits in MSGO. Training GM, the
Hmm.
trainer GM is support.
Yeah, the trainer's the one that I
MSGO.
saw you running.
Yeah.
that would be funny though if just like all 4 of those just ended up with the heal tool.
I mean, that's the thing, right? As much as I like to make fun of MSGO for being like something you get out of a cereal box in terms of presentation, the concepts that they have, because they've been running the game for so long, because they're these massive like team-based matches, like that stuff could translate over well because even if it's on a smaller scale, some of those roles and abilities could be needed for diversifying what people do in this game.
So then, I guess here's a question for the new suit speculation now, because who knows? But what do you guys want to see? What's your top 3 that you would want to see?
I kind of want to see the heavy full armor 7th, which is literally just like the Dendrobium level kind of like weapons platform. It'd be space only, but I just want to see it happen. It looks so ridiculous over the top. I want more Thunderbolt stuff. I'm never not gonna want more Thunderbolt stuff. The Atlas Gundam just got added to Gunpla Warfare. I kind of want to see that happen in this game.
That'd be cool.
And maybe just some other variant stuff like the Shikikai and like make it a different role or do some other shit like that. The fact that we have MSVZ to like pull from now and that they're doing like missing variation stuff too, which I think they just kind of put under like the regular MSV title sometimes, means that we have a big pull now, especially since we're running out of like original GBO stuff to pull from, and we don't know where that's gonna be like relegated to. Like if it's actually gonna have its own banner, because there have been some suits that we thought were gonna be like reward suits that weren't. They just ended up being put in the gacha.
I'm guessing the one that I can definitely guess that would be a banner would be the full armor slave wraith. Like I could see that being a
Yeah,
banner
I can see that.
for sure.
And like the dual hand has to come back eventually too. We'll see that maybe.
Yeah, Emblem. What are you thinking? What's your 3 top picks that you would want to see put in?
I'll do mine as Zeta MSV theme this time around. We'll say for general, Full Armor Gundam Mark II, or sorry, for raid, Full Armor Gundam Mark II.
Yeah. Oh god, it's raid? Hell yeah.
Well, it doesn't have any weapons that support a support play, so I think it'd be either a raid or a general.
It's like a
For the
plant with
support,
actual legs.
yeah, maybe for the support, Nemo 3. And for the general, I'll say mass production Hyakushiki Kai.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Okay. I'm gonna go with Raid Methus. And Palace Athene support.
So
Oh man, I gotta go with the transformable support too. Gap Flea support.
oh
Yeah. And then bonus option, secret option D. Mark Full Armor Mark III for support. Because generals have had enough enough already. Raid gets
Are you
1.
sure?
Raid gets 1. Support 3 picks. There we go. That's mine. There we go. So yeah. Cool. So do we want to go ahead and do some shout outs?
Sounds good. We can close her out.
Cool.
Okey-dokey.
If you want to go.
Sorry, I was making adjustments. All right. So yeah, I'm Gaming Emblem. You may know me as Gaming Who. You can find me on twitch.tv/Gaming Emblem on the online internet Twitch video game streaming website. Every now and on very rare occasions we post things on YouTube. Just check Twitch, and we play video games, have fun, all that good jazz. Currently playing MSGO as well as MSGBO2. That's Mobile Suit Gundam Battle Operation. The other one is Mobile Suit Gundam Online. I think it's called Gundam Online Wars on Twitch or whatever. But a lot of fun. Internet, video games, Salt, WoW, Gaming Emblem.
Yeah. Goose out of 13th, Gustav_X_I. We are still doing Gun Battle Operation 2. As always, we have moved on to Bloodborne as our secondary game, so from one Salt Pit to the other. We're also on Twitter and Facebook. Trying to put more stuff up on my YouTube, like highlight cuts from actual playthroughs, things like that. Maybe some stuff like clan battles. Just whatever I can find something to cut up and put on there. That way you guys can check it out without it being like lost to the ether. Or like, let's be honest, like the actual video viewing on here isn't something that people tend to look at. It's just something that's more preferable to do on a YouTube platform. So check it out when you can. try to keep up with it as best as I can in the meantime.
Cool. And as usual, everybody's links and stuff will be down in the description below. Anyway, I'm EG Magnum, stream on Twitch, got the Twitters, Discord, YouTube, etc. I'm gonna be doing some the Mobile Suit Gundam online, that whatever. Yes, the thing Emblem's been doing. Probably tomorrow. Gonna try to download it and get that set up either tonight or tomorrow morning, and then do some of that tomorrow. Other than that, probably gonna be doing some maybe Final Fantasy VII tomorrow as well, and or 14 slash Path of Exile grind. Probably gonna be catching some Z's after this because, again, did the 29-hour stream yesterday. So this weekend probably not gonna be doing too much, and then next week getting ready for Phantasy Star Online 2 and finishing Path of Exile. And we'll see what else happens. But anyway, if you're watching this on YouTube, like, comment, subscribe, all that. Leave us a comment down below of what you'd like to see us talk about in the future. But anyway, thanks for watching. Have a good one. Peace.
Later.